Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are Arizona.
The Diamondbacks have 17 games left in the season, and tonight at Chase Field, they start a 7-game homestand against NL West opponents, the Rockies and the Dodgers. The Diamondbacks have owned the Rockies this season at home, winning 6 of 7, and they look to remain in second place within the NL West. Brandon McCarthy takes the mound, looking to build on his last 3 outings. Paul Goldschmidt and company host Troy Tulowitzki and the Rockies, next on Fox Sports Arizona.
Back home in the Valley, the Arizona Diamondbacks home from the road. We were in San Francisco and Los Angeles, now back home in downtown Phoenix as the D-backs and Rockies open up a 3-game weekend set here on Fox Sports Arizona. The panels and roof closed, everyone nice and comfortable inside Chase Field. Good evening from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Perthume and Bob Brentley along the way. The Diamondbacks and Rockies, the first of 3 here. And BB, we are counting them down. Only about 10 home games left to go here.
Sad time of year when you start getting down close to single digits in games left in the season. As you said, 17 left going into tonight's ball game. And the Diamondbacks, playing at home here at the end of the season. They've got the Rockies this weekend. They got the Dodgers coming in for 4 games next week. And then they finish with the Nationals that final week of the regular season. Never too late in the season to establish some kind of domination in your home ballpark. Hopefully the D-backs will be able to do that.
And down to business here, 3 against Colorado. The Diamondbacks have had a lot of good luck this year against the Rockies at Chase Field.
Yeah, they have. Unfortunately, they've caught them at times when Tulowitzki wasn't in the lineup, when Cargo wasn't in the lineup, but they have really put a whipping on the Rockies right here at Chase Field. You see the 5 runs per game, the team ERA under 2. Anytime you have that combination of numbers, you're going to beat some teams.
Well, the Diamondbacks will look to keep that home cooking going here at Chase Field over the weekend. Brandon McCarthy is on the mound for Arizona tonight, and Tyler Chatwood for Colorado. When we come back, Brad talks to Brandon, who's looking to keep his string of successful starts going. He takes the hill for the Diamondbacks tonight. First pitch coming up here on Fox Sports Arizona. More from Chase Field after this.
Visit bmoharris.com to help make money make sense. And by Fulton Home. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
It is a Friday night in downtown Phoenix, and how good is this? The roof at Chase Field is wide open as the D-backs open up this 7-game homestand. The first 3 against the Colorado Rockies. Welcome back to the show. Brad Steinke outside the D-backs dugout. Brandon McCarthy gets the start tonight for the Diamondbacks, and lately he has been very, very good. Ever since he got roughed up for 7 earned runs by the Reds back on August the 21st, he has been rock solid. A record of 2-1, only 5 earned run in 24 innings pitched, including that complete game loss against the Blue Jays. He said he went back, looked at some video, made a small mechanical adjustment. He said his technique was getting a bit sloppy. He corrected the problem, and the D-backs are glad he did because he has been lights out ever since then. So stay with us. It is game 1 between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies. Only 17 games left to go in the season. We've got the battle next on Fox Sports Arizona. Steve and Bob have the call. Stick around. First pitch right around the corner.
Ram Trucks, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And by Jack in the Box, go big at a participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken sandwich combos for only $3.99 plus tax.
Look at this. Open sesame at Chase Field. Bob Brenly jams on the guitar and the roof miraculously opens and the sky appears and all is well in the valley. Diamondbacks and Rockies. Brandon McCarthy on the mound. Bob Brenly jamming with Dan Bickley and Whiskey Quicker before the game, and it created some good mojo on Friday the 13th for us.
Well, we certainly hope so. This is how Walt Weiss is going to line up the Rockies tonight. Corey Dickerson leading off. DJ LeMahieu playing second, batting second. Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop. National League's leading hitter Michael Kadire playing right field, batting fourth. Willeen Rosario behind the plate. Todd Helton just got his 2,500th career base hit not too long ago. He'll be at first base. Nolan Arenado at third. Charlie Blackmon in center field, and right-hander Tyler Chatwood on the mound for the Rockies.
And your Arizona Ford Diamondback starting pitcher making his 19th start is Brandon McCarthy. He has won 2 of his last 3 starts, including his last outing, which was Saturday at San Francisco. And Bob, another impressive performance for Brandon. 1 run on 6 hits in 8 innings.
Yeah, about as good as we've seen Brandon in a long time. He rediscovered that cut fastball, a pitch that has been there for him at times and not there for him at other times, but had a real good one going against the Giants.
Well, with a win tonight, the Diamondbacks can equal their home win total from all of last season. They have won 5 in a row here at Chase Field against the Rockies as Corey Dickerson steps in to get us underway over the weekend. D-backs and Rockies 3 here at Chase Field. That pitch is fouled away, and quickly it's 0-1. Corey Dickerson, 290 and 3 homers. Carlos Gonzalez continues battling a finger injury. It's unlikely we'll see him, perhaps in a pinch running role or something. But his season has essentially come to an end after hurting his finger against the Diamondbacks earlier this year. Right to Goldie at first, one away in the first. Defensively, the Diamondbacks look as such. Eric Chavez getting the start at third base.
And that means Martin Prado moves out to left field. Adam Eaton in center field. Gerardo Parra over in right. Chavez, Gregorius on the left side. Hill Goldschmidt on the right side of the infield. Miguel Montero behind the plate for right-hander Brandon McCarthy.
Chavi has been in and out of the lineup ever since he came back from that knee strain. Still trying to find his footing, and he's in there at third. Here's DJ LeMahieu, the second baseman, who takes a strike. It's 0-1. LeMahieu with 286 and 2 homers. And this guy is hot right now. He's hitting a career-best 12 straight games. He's hitting almost 390 during that hitting streak. Up the middle, DIDI Gregorius behind the bag at second. There's that arm, 2 down.
You talk about that LeMahieu 12-game hit streak. 7 of those have been multi-hit games, so he is red hot.
Tell you what, when the ballpark has the roof open here, it is absolutely gorgeous. The sun is setting. A beautiful night here in the Valley, downtown Phoenix. First time we've had the roof open since May 27th. Feels longer.
Boy, it's such a different ballpark with the lid open and the panels open. And pitchers will attest to that. Most pitchers will tell you they prefer the roof closed. The ball doesn't seem to carry quite as well with the panels and roof closed, but boy, you've got a night like this, you've got to open it up to the desert skies.
Here's Tulo. Boy, Brandon McCarthy jumping out ahead again, 0-1. He has looked superb ever since he came off the DL, except for the bad outing in Cincinnati. Other than that, he has been a different guy. 0-2.
Oh, he's in a rut here early. 6 pitches, all strikes so far.
Tulo at 310 and 22 homers, the career numbers versus Brandon. Hard to third. That's a base hit. It's by Chavez and into left, and Tulowitzki's aboard with a 2-out single. And here comes the guy you do not want to get you this weekend. It's Michael Kadire, the National League's leading hitter at 334. And what a remarkable season he's had.
Oh, what a remarkable month of September he's having. In 10 games, he's hitting .474 with 3 homers, 3 doubles, and 12 driven in. Red hot.
He's hit safely in 5 straight and 10 of his last 11. Again, McCarthy really locating well here. It's 0-1. Kadire, a monster season for Colorado at the age of 34. An all-star this year for the second time in his career. And it's funny, he hit .330 during the first half of the year, and you figured, well, he's got to come down to earth sooner or later. Instead, he's actually hit better since the All-Star break, hitting .340 here in the second half. The average keeps going up. Good off-speed pitch. It's 1-2.
Kadire has always just been a professional hitter. He's got a great approach at the plate, maybe hitting with a little more luck this year, finding some more holes.
That's a fair ball down the right field line. Tulowitzki running gingerly, heads into third. Parra quickly into second. And they can't quite get Kadire, who's in there with a double. Tulowitzki, with his history of groin trouble, was not going to try and stretch that into an extra base and try and score there. He's content to stop at third, and that is Kadire's 30th double on the year.
I just mentioned, seems to be finding holes. He finds one right down the first baseline. Looked like Parra briefly had a shot at him at second base, but Kadire in with an awkward slide, able to keep his hand on the bag before Didi could get the tag back down on him. I mentioned the approach of Michael Kadire. Anytime a right-handed hitter puts up numbers like that against right-handed pitching, it's all about your approach, staying on the ball, being willing to hit to the opposite field. What a year.
17 of his 20 home runs have come against right-hand pitching. And here is Willeen Rosario, the catcher. He drives that into center. Here comes Spanky Eaton. Can't quite get it. Tulowitzki scores. Kadire scores. Rockies take a 2-0 lead. And we'll check on Adam in center field. He landed a little awkwardly there, and is slow getting up.
Had a late break ball, looked like it hit him in the heel of the glove. Really went down hard on his chest right there. Hopefully he just got the wind knocked out of him a little bit. Just couldn't quite corral that one.
2-run single with Rosario. 3 straight 2-out hits have made it a 2-0 Colorado lead. And here's Todd Helton.
Now this Rockies bunch is an aggressive bunch of hitters to begin with, but with Brandon McCarthy pounding away at the strike zone the way he has here, 11 strikes through his first 12 pitches.
Aaron Hill right to him. And that's the inning. But the Rockies get 3 hits. They get 2 runs. Home half coming up from downtown Phoenix. With the roof and panels open here for the first time since the end of May at Chase Field. Kurt Gibson and his Diamondbacks up against Tyler Chatwood, the Rockies right-hander. This is the Arizona lineup.
Adam Eaton in center, Aaron Hill at second base, Paul Goldschmidt at first, Eric Chavez getting the start at third base tonight. Martin Prado moves out to left field. Miguel Montero once again behind the plate. Gerardo Parra in right, Didi Gregorius at shortstop, and Brandon McCarthy on the mound.
18 start for 23-year-old right-hander Tyler Chatwood out of high school in Redlands, California. Second-round pick by the Angels in the 08 draft. Acquired by the Rockies for catcher Chris Iannetta before last season. Just his second start back after missing all of August with right elbow inflammation.
Heavy sinker ball pitcher, gets a lot of grounders when he's right out there on the mound. 15 double plays grounded into this season. He gets a lot of comparisons to teammate Roy Oswalt just because of his physical stature. He's not a big, tall guy, but he's deceptively quick.
6 foot 185. He's behind 1-0 to Adam Eaton. This is what he throws.
A lot of 2-seamers, occasional 4-seamer up in the zone. We're told he has a good slider. Curveball, a work in progress.
There's the strike, 1-1. Spanky Eaton back in the leadoff spot tonight. 254 and 3 home runs. Well, you got a great feeling, Bob, from Brandon, the way he started off. 2 quick outs. He was spotting that fastball really well, and then suddenly the Rockies just get 2 balls down the line, and suddenly a bloop single, and it's 2-0.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was throwing too many strikes. Got ahead of a couple of the Rockies hitters. Could have possibly wasted a pitch, but you'd much prefer to see your guy throwing strikes than not being able to find the strike zone. You can always make an adjustment if you are throwing strikes to scooting the ball out of the zone. If you're having trouble throwing strikes, it's not always easy to get back into the zone.
Just a beautiful night here in downtown Phoenix at Chase Field. Roof and panels open. All is well back home. Adam Eaton slumping here in September after a really good August, during which he hit .312. Right now, Spanky 5 for his last 33. And he seems to be okay after landing awkwardly on that diving attempt to snare that Willeen Rosario 2-run single in the top of the inning. Take another look, see if we can figure out what happened to Adam on this play.
Maybe the left arm, as he puts his hand down, rolls right over the top of that left wrist.
Fights it off and shoots it into left. It drops in for a fair ball, and Adam Eaton is headed for second base. Corey Dickerson stumbles out there, and Eaton has his 8th double this year. Leadoff man in scoring position for the D-backs.
Nice pesky at bat that time by Adam Eaton. Just let those balls get deep in the zone. Fouled him off to the third base side, but ultimately fights off a high pitch that just bloops over the head. Arenado down there at third base drops in fair territory, and then Dickerson had some issues.
Yee. Aaron Hill. Ball 1. Brian Gorman, the crew chief, is our plate umpire tonight. Aaron at .292 and 9 homers. He had 2 hits in his last start. That was Wednesday at Dodger Stadium. Hard to right. It drops in for a base hit. Adam Eaton will stop at third.
I love that when a guy tries to do the right thing and gets rewarded. Aaron Hill trying to hit that ball to the right side to move Eaton up to third base, and he gets rewarded with a line drive base hit into right field. Unfortunately, he hit it so hard, Eaton had to hold up momentarily at second base, and Matt Williams throws up the stop sign with nobody out in the inning, and Goldie coming to the plate.
And the Diamondbacks with a chance to immediately answer the 2 Rockies runs in the top half of the inning. First and third, nobody out for Goldie, who leads the National League with 109 RBIs and is just 1 home run shy of Pedro Alvarez for the league lead in homers. Pedro Alvarez homered today. He's been quiet for a long time. Here's the RBI race. One and 0. Fights it off, and DJ LeMahieu makes a nice play and saves a run. They really like LeMahieu's bat and his glove. He's done a good job defensively at second base, and we just saw another example of that.
He's one of those guys that came out of a major college program at LSU and really plays the game the right way. Fundamentally sound player. He can play any infield position. Good contact hitter at the plate.
So they get an out here. Chavez, 290 and 9 homers. Rockies got their little looper to drop in a center for 2 runs. Diamondbacks couldn't quite get that one to drop in short rights. That pitch misses. It's 1-0. Martin Prano on deck. That's a cool looking shot. Great job by our camera crew down there. A reminder, fans, every time a Diamondbacks player hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes will donate $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. Talking to Don Baylor, I'm sorry, Bob, before the game batting practice today, we were watching Xavi hit, and Drew said, just the ball sounds different when it comes off the bat of Eric Chavez. It has a different sound, still at the age of 35. He's just got that quality about him. He can still mash it.
Quick hands.
Oh, right at Tulowitzki. LeMahieu, and they turn it. First and third, nobody out for the Diamondbacks, and they cannot answer. And it's 2-0 after 1. Hey fans, FoxSportsArizona.com has all your online local sports coverage. Jack McGruder is here. He's working on his game piece. He'll have post-game analysis and reaction. Coyotes swinging for the fences, and the Cardinals, Patrick Peterson, looks forward to the challenge this weekend against Megatron and the Lions. All that and more right now, FoxSportsArizona.com. Nolan Arenado looks at a strike again. McCarthy throws strike 1. Arenado, Blackman, Chatwood, 7, 8, 9.
Solid rookie season for Arenado, a guy that kind of gets lost in the shuffle when you talk about all the good rookies in the National League this year, but he's scattered among the rookie leaders in just about every category. Third in batting average among National League rookies. He's got 10 homers, second to Evan Gattis in RBI, second to Yasiel Puig in multi-hit games. He's tied with A.J. Pollock with 26 doubles, having himself a real solid first season.
As you saw, hitting .311 since the All-Star break. He's played very good defense at third base. In fact, Patrick Saunders, who writes for the Denver Post, wrote today that Arenado should get a Gold Glove. He's been that good, apparently. Walt Weiss agreed. Reaches down and gets that one, but hits it right to Gerardo Parra. One away. Yeah, Walt Weiss
said it's hard for him to remember a third baseman having a better year than Arenado has had defensively.
Wow. It's high praise. Walt Weiss has seen a lot of good third basemen, played alongside a lot of good third basemen.
Said, I don't think he can play any better than he has defensively. He's been stellar. Charlie Blackmon, the center fielder, steps in. Another strike one. McCarthy quickly ahead 0-2. He has thrown first pitch strikes to all 8 Colorado hitters so far.
19 total pitches, 18 strikes.
Just missed there. It's 1-2. But as you mentioned, Bob, the last half inning, that can be a dangerous thing from time to time.
I guess an aggressive offensive ball club, and the Rockies certainly fit that category. They like to swing those bats.
Bring him up and sit him down. First strikeout for McCarthy. 2 down in the second. Boy, his stuff looks really crisp.
Pitcher number 32, Tyler Chatwood.
Gotten the benefit of the doubt for Brian Gorman on that one, however. Here's the pitcher, Tyler Chatwood. This guy can hit. He's 10 for 33. So he's not just a look at 3 and sit down type of guy. He's got 7 RBIs this year.
His approach is to drastically step in that bucket. And by that we mean going from an even stance that he's in right now. That left foot heads right down the third baseline.
One and two.
I would assume he's more effective on pitches from the middle in because he's probably not going to be able to reach a lot of pitches on the outside corner with that approach.
See if Brandon can get a nice quick 1-2-3 second after that 2-run first. Before his win at AT&T Park in his last start, Brandon threw his 8th career complete game. That was last Monday against the Blue Jays here at Chase Field. He was outstanding. Allowed only 2 runs in, well, he allowed 2 runs in the second, but then didn't give up another hit until the 9th. And at one point in that start 2 outings ago against the Blue Jays, retired 16 straight. These numbers here against the Giants. 99 pitches through 8, only 6 hits. Slaps that one to Prado in left. It drops in for a base hit. And another 2-out hit for the Rockies. They had 3 straight 2-out hits in the first and ended up with 2 runs.
Brandon has made very few mistakes in the early going of this ball game, but you'd have to classify this pitch as a mistake. A breaking ball that hangs off the inside corner, and with that step in the bucket approach that Chatwood uses, that's right in his wheelhouse.
Brings up the top of the order, Corey Dickerson. He hit a ball sharply to Paul Goldschmidt at first, his first time up. Dickerson over 300 against right-hand pitching this year, so he's in the leadoff spot tonight. 288 on the season. He's up there with a man on first and 2 outs. Base hit. Another 2-out hit for Colorado.
All 5 of their hits tonight have come with 2 outs.
Couple pitches up in this inning. Miguel Montero out there to have a word with his right-hander. You could clearly see from that at bat, Dickerson, another very aggressive swinger in this Rockies lineup. So having a discussion with the guys down in the truck, we think Dickerson looks a little bit like Buster Posey in the face.
Oh yeah, it's a good
resemblance there.
DJ LeMahieu grounded short his first time. LeMahieu has been filling the 2 hole in the Rockies order. He's been moved up after hitting pretty well in the 8th spot. I like his bat.
Mayhew came up through the Chicago Cubs organization. I think there was some question with the Cubs where he best fit in. As I mentioned, he plays third, he plays short, he plays second. He has played a little bit of first base, but he's not really a big-time power hitter. Good contact hitter, sprays it around. Like that.
Another 2-out hit. That's into right. Parra. Whoa, they are going to hold everybody up. Stu Cole at third put the brakes on Chatwood, and the bases are full. 3 straight 2-out hits for the 2nd inning in a row, and they were not going to run on Gerardo Parra right there. Someone has finally learned.
At least for the time being. Maybe if it's a position player instead of a pitcher running at second base, they take a chance, but Stu Cole, he's well aware of Gerardo Parra's arm and his reputation out there in right field. 15 assists on the season, leading the majors for Gerardo Parra, and could very easily have another half a dozen were it not for some bad calls and some questionable tags.
So it's a bases loaded 2-out mess, and in steps Troy Tulowitzki, who singled and scored his first time. A little bounce at a shortstop. DIDI to go the short way, and that's a huge out there for Brandon McCarthy as the Rockies leave the bases loaded. CenturyLink, your link to what's next, coming up for the Diamondbacks. Prado, Montero, Parra down 2-0. Phoenix, the Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 2-0, and we are set for the home half of the 2nd inning. Time for our AT&T Twitter poll. You got a lot to choose from here. Your favorite extra inning game this year. Tweet your vote to @Fox Arizona. Got 5 choices for you.
Now this is a complicated one, so we're going to give you this for the whole weekend. You got the whole weekend to think about it over the course of the next 3 games. We'll play back some of the moments from these games, but these are your choices. He-backs, she-backs, we back the D-backs. So pick your favorite extra inning game this year and tweet your vote to @FoxSportsArizona. This one is a 3-dayer. So we're going to give you this all weekend long. Martin Prado, Miguel Montero, Gerardo Parra, 5, 6, and 7 against Tyler Chatwood in the Arizona second. Big ground ball out there by Brandon McCarthy to end that second inning. Otherwise, this one might have gotten out of hand early as he stranded the bases loaded. Prado at 281 and 13 homers. Slumping lately, 5 for his last 33. Looks at a ball, 1-0. Good to be back home. Great to see the roof and panels open here. Gorgeous night for baseball. Glad you can join us here at Chase Field at Fox Sports Arizona. 3 against the Rockies this weekend, then 4 against the Dodgers beginning Monday. DBacks.com/tickets. Come on out and join us. Right back to the mound. 1 away. Miguel Montero and his familiar walk-up music.
Might have to download that just to hear the whole thing. You know, we get little snippets of it when he comes up to the plate, and
well, maybe next time you're jamming out there with the Whiskey's Quicker.
Yeah, by the way, I want to thank those guys for letting me sit in today for a couple of tunes. They have a lot of fun. Dan Bickley, obviously, Joe Palma, the lead guitar player, Kieran Brennan, the lead singer, Gary Hockey, the bass guitar player, he sings as well, and Gabe Lugo, who's the director of bands and orchestra right here at Apollo High School, playing the drums. Thanks a lot, guys. Had a good time.
You look like Mike Campbell with the Heartbreakers up there.
I don't know about that.
I tweeted out a picture. I'm very proud of the picture I tweeted out. It looked good. You look like a real rock and roller.
You know, I had to dress for work after the gig. That's musician
The
talk.
gig?
The gig, yeah.
I'm with the band.
Normally I go with a backwards hat and, you know, some kind of a rock and roll t-shirt, some sneakers, but had to dress for the job.
We should be making this a, you know, once a homestand kind of thing.
I'm all for it.
Talk to Bickley about that.
Get you up there with the cowbell?
Yeah, that's about it. That's about all I could do. I'm like Davy Jones with the Monkees. I'd just be standing there with a tambourine trying to do something. Totally useless. This was earlier outside the Game 7 grill here at Chase Field. It's our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning Cool Play of the Day. Look at that. Nice.
Yeah, I told Bickley, allowing me to play with Whiskey's Quickers, like if Gibby would call Dan Bickley and say, hey, you're going to play short and lead off tonight. Got no business being there, but boy, did I have fun.
Now, when you showed up with your, they call it an axe, right?
Yeah.
In the music industry, your axe. What kind of a reception did you get from the band?
Well, Joe, the lead guitar player, he said, well, you know, what do you got? I opened the case and showed it to him, and I said, listen, I got to run upstairs and fill out my lineup card, but I'll be back in a little bit. He says, okay, I'll fix this for you.
What was wrong with it?
Oh, apparently there were all kinds of issues. He was naming parts of a guitar. I didn't even know guitar had parts. But, yeah, he got me all wired up and tuned up and ready to go. All I had to do was show up and plug in.
3-2. Ball 4. Diamondbacks have a one-out base runner. So when he got back, it was like having a new guitar?
Yeah, I mean, it was the same guitar I brought with me, but he had done some fine-tuning and adjusted this and tightened that and loosened this, and, man.
So you sounded even better.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but it felt better playing it, that's for sure.
Well, at least we know from now on when the people on the road and the hotels complain, it'll sound better.
Yeah, that guy, they used to play those awful out-of-tune chords. He's back, and he's in tune.
One out, Miggy on first, Gerardo Parra. Great atmosphere outside the ballpark. If you get down here, check out Game 7 Grill. Great food down there. You can sit outside. They have those mister things going with that nice cooling mist.
Got some shade from the sun. Hang out there. Because you never know who you're going to see playing the guitar. I'd be like Will Ferrell with the cowbell. That's all I could do.
You always need a cowbell.
Gotta have more cowbell. Now, usually there's all kinds of stories about the band afterwards trashing the set or the hotel room, or there was a trouble with the entourage, some groupies. Was there any issues there?
No. I mean, you, Scott Geyer, and Leo Gilmartin were my groupies.
Leo and I, we were out there. Although Leo kind of got an attitude because Scott and I made it for the second song because we had some stuff to do down in the field. But Leo was there for 2. And there is Leo Gilmartin, ably manning the radio booth. And he kind of big-timed us.
Leo's a loyal follower, you know. He was out there early. Said, when are you going to play? I said, in about a half an hour. And he stayed and watched Whiskey's Quicker play the rest of their set leading up to Wild Thing.
Next time we're going to get you on some of those Billy Idol tunes they were playing. A little White Wedding. 2-2. Yeah, Leo was sort of, flashing his cell phone light back and forth, swaying.
Asking for free bird.
Stairway.
We need a stairway around the bases here is what we need. Gerardo Parra's about due to find a gap here and get Miggy's legs working.
Parra has it safely in 8 of his last 11 games. DIDI Gregorius on deck. Get that home run stroke going. DIDI's had a couple of home runs this month. Miggy takes off.
It's not so much about the speed of the runner at first. It's the confidence you have that the hitter will either take ball 4 or put a strike in play to protect Miguel Montero on the move.
Miggy takes off again. Parra fouls it off again. And we'll start over again at 3-2. Rockies got 2 in the first, 3 straight 2-out hits. William Rosario, a little bloop in the shallow center that Adam Eaton couldn't quite dive and get, so 2 runs scored. Tulowitzki was up in the top of this inning with the bases full and 2 outs and grounded out to avoid further damage. And the Diamondbacks trying to answer here in the second. Another 3-2 to Gerardo Parra. Montero holds. Parra lines it to left. Corey Dickerson is there. That's the second out. Mentioned DIDI Gregorius with a home run swing lately, including his last game Tuesday at Dodger Stadium. This one cleared that first section of bleachers in right field.
Way back in right. And we talk about Dodger Stadium at night all the time, and you don't see balls hit that far at Dodger Stadium at night unless you're Yasiel Puig.
101 miles an hour off the bat for DIDI, who's at 260 and 7 homers. His other homer this month against the Blue Jays. And DIDI's been fighting for some at-bats. He's only had 10 plate appearances in September. He's homered twice. Coming inside here. Oh, boy, he missed big time there. Chris Owings part of the shortstop mix. Kevin Towers has said about the Diamondbacks shortstop spot that looking forward there are still going to be a lot of decisions that need to be made on how the whole position shapes up looking into the future. How much do you measure DIDI's second half slump compared to his first half when he's hitting about 385 versus Chris Owens' big year at AAA? That one has popped up. Tulowitzki calls off Arenado. And that's the inning. We are through 2. It's 2-0. This was
Bob Brenly and Whiskey's Quaker outside the Game 7 grill just before the ball game. Rocking out here at Chase Field. We're back after this.
Nothing. Brad Steinke here outside the D-backs dugout, and you may have noticed Miguel Montero wearing these bright fluorescent orange stickers on his fingernails this season. They're from a company called Game Signs. As Mickey says, it really has helped him get and stay on the same page as his pitchers. He used to use whiteout, but he said that was obviously problematic, painting it every day, and a lot of times they would get dirty. He says it was always a hassle at night taking them off, but he really, really believes it's a good thing. He said one of the young guys that was called up this year from Reno got up and really had trouble reading the signs because he left his contact lenses back in Reno. He was sent down and sent back up, and he forgot them again. So he says these bright fluorescent orange stickers are really, really useful. And Bob, you know how painful it can be to be crossed up. I don't know if you ever had a chance to use anything like this, but I think orange is my color.
I find it unusual that Brad has actually been wearing those all year.
Yeah.
Not even on game days.
And the first time you've noticed them, by the way. I really thought they'd stick out a little more.
Well, they're lovely.
They come in lime green and white as well. So, you can see, fastball curve. But I'll take them off very soon.
My concern is getting the call from AAA to come up and pitch and forgetting your contact lenses.
Yeah, it was a concern for Miggy as well because he was crossed up a couple times and he just wondered why he wouldn't wear glasses or make sure that when he went back down, he had those either with him or sent to him by the trainers down there.
Kadire grounds out. See how much McCarthy deflected that one at 6-7. Every inch helped there. And they retire Kadire, who doubled and scored his first time, the National League's leading hitter. Let's take a look.
Liner maybe just tipped off the fingers of the glove. Aaron Hill right there to make the play. And look at Kadire. Man, they got him by a half a step over there on a line drive, one hopper to the second baseman. Kadire has 16 infield hits on the season. He runs everything out hard.
Willeen Rosario, 2-run single in the first. A bloop to shallow center that Adam Eaton couldn't quite dive and get, that scored 2 runs with 2 outs. Rosario hitting almost .360 over his last 10 games. And this guy has become perhaps the best offensive catcher in the major leagues. He's got 21 home runs. That's tied with Matt Wieters for the most among major league catchers. He's got 74 RBIs. Well, now actually 76. So he's only 1 behind Milwaukee's Jonathan Lucroy for the major league lead among catchers. But then there's the defense.
Yeah, that's a work in progress at best. He has some issues back there. Strong throwing arm, just has some receiving and blocking problems. Hey, you talk about him offensively, however, Walt Weiss loves what he's getting out of Rosario. You go back to last season and this year combined, he leads all major league catchers in homers, slugging percentage, second in RBIs, fifth in extra base hits. Guy's a force behind the plate. It's just a question of will he drive in more than he lets in.
Chop to third. Eric Chavez plays it on a high hop, long throw, 2 up, 2 down. Well, we've seen, Bob, games here where it's one pass ball or wild pitch after another with Rosario back there. He's had some rough days.
And as I said, it's a work in progress, and it has been exactly that. A lot of early work down in the bullpen, trying to tighten up his blocking skills, smooth out his receiving so that he can make those borderline pitches look a little better instead of pushing them farther out of the strike zone.
Todd Helton grounded out his first time. A slow September for Todd Helton in what could very well be the final month of his long career. He is hitting under 200 for September. He's at 246 on the year. And Helton said late last month that he is virtually certain that he will retire when this season ends. He has not said he is definitely retiring. The career number's right there. So there is a tiny crack left open in that door. He said, if I'm 99% sure, I'm going to make sure I'm 100%. He said, because I could get a wild hair in the offseason and want to play, and that would mean I'm going to be able to play.
I don't think the wild hair will come for Todd Helton until spring training. You know, the offseason, after a long grinding year and a down season from what Todd Helton is used to, I'm sure he's looking forward to the offseason. Go home, spend some time. He's a big outdoorsman, likes to hunt and fish. But calendar rolls around to the middle of February, and all of a sudden your body says, hey, it's time to go back to work. And at that point, it'll be interesting to see if Todd Helton has what it takes to come back for one more season.
He has been with the Rockies since 1995 when he was drafted out of Tennessee, the 8th overall pick. 3-2.
I mentioned he got his 2,500th hit on September 1st against the Reds. It was a double, which gave him 584 career doubles, moving past Robin Yount into 17th place on the all-time list.
High in the air to right. Parra backing up at the track, at the wall. He's got room, and he's got it for the final out. It's a 1-2-3 third for Brandon McCarthy. CenturyLink, your link to watch next. Diamondbacks down 2-0, but coming up for the D-backs, it's the top of the order. Adam Eaton and Aaron Hill, both with hits so far. Attend batting practice, get a customized jersey, and much more. Gatorade, win from within. Brandon McCarthy leads off the third for the Diamondbacks against Tyler Chatwood. McCarthy, Eaton Hill, 9-1-2. Brandon still looking for his first base hit this year. He is 0 for 29. On the ground, first base side. Todd Helton spins and throws. Chatwood's there, one away. Tyler Chatwood pitched well his last time out, and no decision, though. That was Saturday at San Diego. He allowed just 1 run on 5 hits and 6. And so far, he's given up 2 hits and a walk, and he's got a 2-0 lead. Chatwood has battled injuries on and off this year. He missed time in June because of tricep soreness, and then he missed all of August with right elbow inflammation. An MRI showed an elbow impingement as Adam Eaton takes a strike. And the elbow trouble was a red flag for Chatwood, considering his injury history. He's only 23, but this is a guy who had Tommy John surgery while he was still in high school. Off the glove, deflects it by Tulowitzki. Chatwood almost certainly would have been better off if he had not touched that ball going up the middle. Instead, Eaton's aboard.
Instincts. Yeah, pitchers try to knock that ball down when it comes back in their direction, but you can clearly see a couple of more steps to his left, and Tulowitzki would have been right in position to field that bouncer. Fortunately, deflected the other direction. Adam Eaton able to reach with a 1-out infield hit.
Brings up Aaron Hill, who singled his first time. Aaron Hill, just like DJ LeMahieu, a former LSU second baseman. 95. Chatwood misses there 1-0. A couple of LSU Tigers here. Talk to Aaron about that in the Cup of Coffee episode that's airing right now on Fox Sports Arizona. You can also watch the entire thing online at foxsportsarizona.com. Aaron talks about what's it like to play for that program in Baton Rouge, which has turned out so many great Major League Baseball players. You go to Alec Box Stadium, LSU, it's like a professional, it's like a really, really good minor league ballpark. Seats about 10,000-12,000, but they got a whole area for the players, and there's a wall of fame and all these pictures of all these LSU guys who have played in the big leagues, and it is impressive when you go down the list. Are you the greatest Ohio player ever?
Oh, no, not by
Who's the greatest Bobcat?
Michael Jack Schmidt.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, he went to Ohio?
Yes, he did.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Steve Swisher, former catcher at the Major League level. Father Nick Swisher played at OU. Dave Tobick pitched briefly in the big leagues for the Detroit Tigers, was an outfielder at Ohio University. There have been a few others that had a little, pardon the pun, cup of coffee here or there.
Ah, so I see what you did there. There you know.
It was always a point of great pride, but at the same time a little embarrassment. I tied and broke a couple of Mike Schmidt's records when I was at Ohio University, and I stood in the record book for exactly 1 year before a guy came along and broke all those records. So
who was that guy?
Well, he was a guy.
1-out walk.
A 4-year DH in college. So yeah.
First baseman.
Chance for Goldie. He came up in the first with 2 men on and hit a little bleeder that LeMahieu snared in very short right. And he's up again with 2 on and 1 out. Second walk for Chatwood. And another chance for the Diamondbacks. Down 2-0 here in the third. Eaton at second, Hill at first.
Keeping an eye on Brandon Phillips and the Reds tonight. Milwaukee beating the Reds 5-1 in the top half of the 8th inning. Brandon Phillips has yet to drive in a run in that game. That's why we keep an eye on Brandon Phillips.
Got to get Goldie over 300 and hanging on to that RBI crown, and hopefully down the stretch here he can get by Alvarez for the home runs. Goldie 6 hits in his last 11 at bats. He's ahead here 1-0. In the dirt. Rosario keeps it relatively under control.
Yeah, much better form that time by Rosario. He was the guy that I don't want to use the word lazy, but he tried to backhand pick pitches out of the dirt, tried to reach out to his left and cleanly pick pitches out of the dirt rather than get into good blocking positions.
These guys are critical to their teams. Kadire, Tulo, Goldie. 2-0. $50 pitches now for Tyler Chatwood. 26 for strikes.
And we know that Gibby likes to give the green light 3-0. You rarely, if ever, see Paul Goldschmidt swing at a 3-0 pitch. See if he changes his approach a little bit here at the end of the season.
Ball 4, bases full. And here comes Eric Chavez. 3 walks now for Chatwood. Jim Wright to the mound. Chavez had a chance in the first. He was up with 1 out, and runners on the corners hit into a double play that ended the inning. So a chance for redemption right here for Xavi. He was hitting under 220 in 11 games since he returned from that knee strain that put him on the DL for the second time this year. Brian Gorman out to try and break this up. An extended mound visit here, and we're set to go with the bases full and 1 out. Adam Eaton is the runner at third. Aaron Hill at second, and Paul Goldschmidt at first. Diamondbacks missed their chance in the first inning, and they have an even better chance right here. One and one. Of course, while we were on the road trip, it was Eric Chavez who broke up Yusmeiro Petit's perfect game bid. Petit was 1 strike away from just the second perfect game in Giants history. But Chavez broke it up with a 2-out single. And that was after he'd had a walk-off hit against the Giants when we were playing San Francisco here at Chase Field before the road trip. Eaton at third, Hill at second, Goldie at first. Two and two.
A little extra gas that time from Chatwood. We mentioned he usually pitches with that sinking fastball, mix in an occasional breaker. That time a 95-mile-an-hour four-seam fastball just off of the outside corner.
In the air to left, right at Corey Dickerson. Adam Eaton's on third, and he will tag Run scores, it's a 2-1 ball game. RBI for Eric Chavez, number 44 on the year.
Left field, Prado.
Brings up Martin Prado with 2 outs. Prado grounded out, tap back to the mound his first time. Oof. There's missing your spot, and then there's that.
Trying to play keep away from your catcher.
Watch this one.
Not only in the left-handed batter's box, but a breaking ball on top of it, moving even farther away. Nice play that time by Rosario. Boy, you can see definite improvement, at least so far in this ball game, from what we saw earlier this season.
In the air to center, Charlie Blackmon's out there. So the Diamondbacks have bases loaded, 1 out. They can get 1 across, and they cut the Rockies' lead in half. It's 2-1 in downtown Phoenix. And fans, be sure to get here tomorrow. Get here early. It's Miguel Montero Bobblehead Day, courtesy of Subway Restaurants, and we are hosting a Hispanic Heritage Day Street Festival presented by APS before the game. We'll have music, food trucks, lucha libre wrestling. So call for tickets. Come on down, 602-462-4600, or log on to dbacks.com/tickets. Miggy Bobblehead Day here tomorrow. Nolan Arenado fouls that one back. And while you're here, check out season seats for 2014. Guarantee your giveaway items by becoming a Diamondback season ticket holder. Early entry to the ballpark. You can watch batting practice, lots of benefits, special autograph sessions, giveaways. Diamondback season tickets for 2014. And hope to see you down here tomorrow. Really good crowd here tonight, BB. The roof and panels are open. It's a great night, and a lot of fans turned out to welcome their Diamondbacks back.
Yeah, it's good to see. And talking to some of the Diamondbacks as that was grounded foul down the third base line. Front office people, they say that tomorrow's game they anticipate starting with the roof closed and then opening up as the sun goes down. It cools off. Obviously for the Sunday day game will be hermetically sealed in Chase Field, but great to see the roof and panels open once again.
We had a 6:40 start tonight. Tomorrow is a 5:10 start, slightly earlier. So we'll try and get the roof open as soon as we can. So get here early for the Street Festival and your Miggy bobblehead.
Get the best of both worlds. You get to see Chase Field with the roof closed, panels closed, the air conditioning cranking, and then later in the game, open it up.
Arenado reaches down and knocks that to Aaron Hill in second. One away in the fourth. Now 5 straight set down by Brandon McCarthy. Brings up Charlie Blackman, who struck out looking his first time. Walt Weiss said Charlie Blackman is a guy who can fall into a few different spots in his lineup. Pretty versatile offensively. Guy who works counts, draws some walks, runs pretty well. He's a good defender. He's out there in center field tonight. Decent speed, a good arm, nice player.
If you're going to play outfield at Coors Field, you need to have decent speed or better. A lot of ground to cover there. McCarthy quickly ahead 0-2 there. That was by design. Cut fastball inside off the corner, and Blackman couldn't do anything but pull it foul down that right field line.
On the ground to Aaron Hill. 6 in a row set down by Brandon. 2 outs.
This is where the trouble started for him back in that second inning. He got Arenado to fly to right. He struck out Blackman, and then Chatwood got a base hit on a hanging curveball. Yeah, you see, he's been able to get the 2 outs rather easily, but he has trouble getting that third one.
All 6 of their hits coming with 2 outs. One and one. There's a good look at the crowd here. All around Chase Field on a gorgeous night in downtown Phoenix. Good location there, 1 and 2.
That's a great location for a guy that steps down that third baseline as much as Chatwood does. He's going to have all kinds of issues trying to reach that pitch.
Threw him a hanging curveball last time that he belted into left. Shot to third, Chavez. Second straight 1-2-3 inning for Brandon McCarthy, who has set down 7 in a row. Diamondbacks down 2-1.
And I feel like if you quit, it doesn't do much for your team. So, well, I mean, we know there's games left, and we know that we're going to play our hearts out all the way to the end.
Adam Eaton with our Geico quote of the game. Can't stress enough how important it is for this team to play with pride and some passion during these final 17 games. Kirk Gibson knows that, and so do these guys. We've talked about it all year long. It's a very good clubhouse. You've got some veterans in there that know how to play the game the right way, know how to close out a season the right way, and all the young guys, the guys called up earlier this month, are learning from those guys. And you get the sense that with the day off yesterday and then the 7-game homestand, we're going to see this team play hard to the bitter end.
Oh, there's no question about that, Brad. Absolutely. Miguel Montero, Gerardo Parra, DiDi Gregorius in the 4th inning against Tyler Chatwood. Miggy walked his first time up. Playing hard is not an issue, that's for sure. Not with this group. Interesting article I read over the last week or so. Scott Bordeaux, who writes for azcentral.com, and been talking to Miggy about how hard he swings. And we've pointed that out a couple of times. He will occasionally overswing, but he says he's not overswinging. He says he's okay.
Well, in his defense, when a batter swings and misses, it always looks bigger and longer than it feels to the hitter at the plate. You know, when you make contact, you kind of abbreviate that follow through. It's not as long and loopy and doesn't finish way out behind your swing the way Miguel can occasionally do. But, you know, I think there have been times this year because of his struggles offensively. Don Baylor having a little laugh over there on the bench that he has tried to swing a little bit too hard, especially when the offense wasn't going good. So that's just a nice, controlled, easy, get the barrel of the bat on the ball swing right there. And fortunately, that time he finds a hole back up the middle of the field. But it's just human nature for a guy like Miggy. He knows the team was counting on him offensively, just like Goldie and Aaron Hill and Eric Chavez. Everybody wants to contribute. Everybody wants to be a part of it. And when the team was struggling, I think Miggy, more so than anybody else, felt like he needed to pick it up and probably tried to do a little bit too much.
And he admitted that, you know, near the end of April, that first month of the season, that he did not have a clue what he was doing at the plate. He said it lasted about a month and a half. Here's Gerardo Parra. So Miggy's been on base twice in 2 plate appearances. Parra looks at a ball. And Montero said in the article, this was interesting. He said, well, people say he's overswinging. Yeah, I'm overswinging because I don't make contact. I'm always swinging hard. You know, I think I'm trying to not stay the other way. I'm not going to change anything. It happened. It's baseball. He'd like to sort of get a do-over, but he realizes he can't. And it's all about finishing strong and having a good feeling to carry into the winter and next year.
Yeah, it's probably not fair to go back this far, but if you think about spring training, one of the toughest things to balance is the catcher. How much work do you get your catcher? You don't want him back there taking foul tips off the knuckles, but you need to get him enough at bats so when the season starts, he feels like he's in some kind of a rhythm. And you know, maybe Miggy needs more at bats in spring training. Maybe go down to some of the minor league games and DH just to get some swings and see some pitches.
Well, he says in the article the first month, meaning April, he felt pretty good, and numbers didn't really show it, but he felt like he was hitting the ball hard everywhere, and they were making great plays, and we saw that a number of times. He'd hit the ball right at somebody. But he admitted he got frustrated. He says when that happens as a hitter, you want to stay the same, don't change anything, but then you do start to change, and all of a sudden you don't know what you're doing up there, and it gets in your head. Roll to short, Tulowitzki, LeMahieu, Helton, they roll the double play. Let's go to Los Angeles now for a Fox Sports 1 game break.
Shortstop, DiDi Gregorius.
Boy, that National League Central, that might go down to the last day. What a race. Really exciting. DiDi Gregorius popped up to short his first time.
And how do you handicap that? I mean, you know, obviously the Pirates are riding a high, first winning season in 21 years. been leading that division off and on most of the season, but the Cardinals are a battle-tested, postseason-tested team that have played a lot of high-pressure games late in the season. They're very familiar with September baseball, looking forward to the postseason, and you certainly can't count out the Reds.
Down the line into right. That is a foul ball. He just missed it. And that's another ball, Bob. Exactly the same type we saw DIDI hit his first 6 weeks in the big leagues with that bat speed. He was pulling everything down the right field line.
And hits that one with authority. Just a little too much side spin. Takes it into foul territory. Obviously extra bases if that one gets down fair. And because he was pulling so many balls initially when he got here to the major leagues, teams made adjustments. Started to work him away. Started to throw more breaking pitches down in the zone, occasionally elevating fastballs. And you may recall about 3 weeks ago, DIDI made an adjustment to his swing. He got the bat down a little closer, carried his hands a little bit lower, rested that bat on his shoulder, and was really a lot quicker to the ball. Started to spray line drives all over the field. DIDI used to hold his bat high above his back shoulder, and it was a long swing, and off-speed pitches or mediocre fastballs were right in his wheelhouse. And then teams started to pound him inside with good fastballs and throw a lot of off-speed pitches out of the zone, and he's made the appropriate adjustment. Now it's just a matter of getting comfortable with his new swing.
Rosario's bare hand here.
I never understood that. All it takes is one foul ball off the knuckles and stop that.
DIDI shoots it into left, just past Arenado, and it's a 2-out single. Nice job there. Just go the other way. And the Diamondbacks at least will clear the pitcher here.
Yeah, a lot of wrists and hands involved in the very tail end of that swing, with 2 strikes, just trying to protect the plate, and shoots one past Arenado out into left field for a big 2-out base hit, because it now clears Brandon McCarthy's spot in the order.
5th hit for the Diamondbacks. Breaking ball drops in there for a strike. It's 0-2. Up the middle, and Brandon McCarthy is on the board in 2013. His first base hit. He is now 1 for 31. Get the ball.
Get the ball. Get the bat. Cooperstown is calling.
They want it. He almost went 0 for the year. First hit in the big leagues at any level.
Yeah, Chatwood kind of returns the favor. Brandon McCarthy hung a curveball to Chatwood his first time up. That time Chatwood just rolled a slider right up there in the middle of the plate. Just kind of hung there for Brandon, and he took it right back up the middle. Nice going.
3rd hit in this inning, Adam Eaton. Eaton is 2 for 2 with a double and a single. Diamondbacks with a chance here to make something out of nothing and perhaps get that tying run across with 2 outs. Bounce to short, Tulowitzki. Chatwood strands 2. We are through 4. Rockies lead it 2-1. Your link to what's next. By Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. Set for the 5th inning. Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 2-1. Hey fans, find out who will be the next Fox Sports Arizona girl. Might be her. Join us Tuesday, 6 o'clock, during the Diamondbacks Live pregame show as the Fox Sports Arizona girls, Mallory and Danielle, will introduce the winner and their newest member so they can complete the Charlie's Angels trifecta. Go out there and fight crime. 6 o'clock on Tuesday, big. I do not have any information as to who won. Do you know anything?
Not at all. Not at all.
They've done a good job of keeping that under wraps. So after his first Major League base hit, Brandon McCarthy back out there for the 5th. He has retired the last 7 Rockies he's faced, giving up 6 hits through 4 so far. He'll work to the top of the Rockies order. Corey Dickerson, DJ LeMahieu, and Troy Tulowitzki 1, 2, and 3. Brandon McCarthy did an interview with Fangraphs, which is a great site if you're ever online looking for some baseball stuff. And he said on that piece the one thing that has bugged him the most and the biggest thing that he says has held him back is the lack of a changeup. And he said for the last 2 years he's tried to find consistency with a changeup. He had an old changeup grip, tried a new one. That didn't work. Went on the DL, came back, went to the split finger. We saw him throwing the splitter for a while there as a change. He said that wasn't mechanically sound. He needs an off season so he can work on it. So he's kind of put that pitch away and gone back to his original changeup. But he says it's a day-to-day thing right now. And he tells his catchers, if you see it in the bullpen and you like it, then call it in the game. But it might be there someday. It might not the next one. Base hit.
That looked like a changeup right there. Good hitting by Dickerson just to stay on it and drive it to the opposite field. But obviously that changeup is very much a feel pitch. Some days you have a real good feel for it. You get out there and your release point is good and you're finishing the pitch. It looks like a fastball to the hitter. Other days it just doesn't feel right.
Here's LeMahieu's 1 for 2.
And occasionally when you go to that changeup and it gets whacked into left field, you decide to put it away for the rest of the night.
And he's had a few that got whacked, like the one he threw to Robinson Cano at Yankee Stadium. Oof. And he supported what you said, Bobby. he said that he feels like the changeup is the most mental pitch of any pitch, because it's the one pitch where you really have to trust the grip, and he hasn't found a grip that he really likes yet, because you're just taking velocity off the fastball, which is scary because if you miss, it's going to get hammered. And he said, look, if I don't trust my changeup grip, it's never going to be any good no matter how many times I throw it. So he's got to get to a place where he has trust and feel for the pitch and then move forward with it, but he's still searching. And I found that interesting because I remember him telling you and I in spring training that that was the thing that he really wanted to work on this year, was introduce a changeup, because he said that's what takes good or average pitchers to an elite level, is the ability to throw that pitch.
And if you talk to hitters in the major leagues, or at any level for that matter, and talk about pitchers that throw a good changeup, nobody likes to face those guys because it is such a deceptive pitch. You can really look ugly up there taking swings against a pitcher that throws a real good straight changeup. I mean, there's a lot of them in the game right now. And there's a lot of different ways to grip that changeup. That's where the issue comes in for Brandon. He's just searching for one that works and something he's comfortable with.
Eric Chavez, Aaron Hill to get the force at second, and they turn the double play. 5-4-3, 2 outs in the fifth.
Well, not your tailor-made double play. Hard hit ball, which you always like to have. Aaron Hill had a long way to go to get to the base there, and kind of an awkward throw off balance to first baseman, and plenty of time to get LeMahieu.
Go D-backs, nice work. Tulowitzki has singled and scored a run. He grounded out to end the second his last time.
And that's why occasionally we've taken shots of 2 or 3 pitchers sitting on the bench, you know, each of them holding a baseball, talking about different grips. How do you hold your slider? How do you get your slider to go down? Mine's flat. It doesn't go down. How do you throw your changeup? We're constantly working on things, trying to find ways to simplify your arsenal out there on the mound, yet be effective.
Off the fist, and that drops into shallow center field. Another 2-out hit for the Rockies. That's their 7th 2-out hit in the ball game. And the changeup is still a pitch Brandon only throws 4% of the time, so he hasn't quite found the level of trust, as we mentioned. Here's Kadire, and you don't want him up there if you can help it, with runners on base. He has doubled and scored and grounded out, 1 for 2. "71 pitches now for Brandon, 58 for strikes. He's been very efficient. He's thrown only 13 balls all night long. Kadire leading the National League in hitting. Earlier this year, he had a Rockies record 27-game hitting streak. He hit in 27 straight from May 28th through June 30th. He hit .372 during the streak. Up the middle, Aaron Hill. They can't get the force at second, and Kadire's aboard. Try to make something out of nothing right there, and Tulowitzki's in at second. Kadire 2 for 3.
And if Kadire does end up leading the National League in hitting this year, you know there'll be those out there, well, yeah, he plays at Coors Field half his games. Well, he is hitting .350 coming into play tonight at home with 11 homers, but he's hitting .321 with 9 homers on the road. So he's shared the wealth both in his home ballpark and on the road.
.334 coming into the night to lead the National League. He hit .260 last year, although he played most of the second half with a strained oblique. Rosario, a 2-run single in the first. He grounded out his last time. Be careful here. Marlene Rosario got off to a huge start this season. He hit .350 in April with 7 homers. But then slumped through a miserable May. He had 16 hits all month. And by June 13th, he was hitting .239. But since then, he's hit .330. In the air to right at Gerardo Parra. Drifting back toward the track, he's got it. And McCarthy strands 2. It's a 2-1 ball game. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up for the Diamondbacks, 2, 3, and 4, the Arizona 5th. Held the Rockies bomb to just those 2 runs that they got in the first inning with 2 outs.
Yeah, he's pitched a good ball game. I mean, everything for Brandon works off the sinker-cutter combination. We've talked a lot about his changeup and the varying grips on the changeup. And the one he's featuring most recently, it looks like he's taking his middle and index finger to make the circle change and basically gripping the ball with his ring finger and his little finger. It looks like a very awkward grip. I don't know if I could throw a baseball that way myself, but the more traditional circle change is just with the index and the thumb, and the other 3 fingers kind of guide the ball toward home plate. We talked about the splitter, where you take your 2-fingered fastball grip and just keep splitting your fingers until you get to a point where it takes off enough velocity to make it an effective pitch. Some guys used to throw a palm ball where they choke the ball way back into the palm of their hand. There's a lot of different ways to take velocity off of a pitch, and it basically comes down to a point of comfort. What am I comfortable throwing? What can I throw for strikes? What can I throw to take the adequate velocity off of my fastball?
It's interesting because you always hear it referred to as the split finger fastball or the splitter, but some guys can use it as a changeup.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, playing with words there. Right. Ground it back up the middle. Tulowitzki will get there. Nice strong throw. Yeah, I mean, some guys throw their splitter and it has a lot of downward movement. They throw it hard. They throw it in the high 80s, low 90s. It has a lot of downward movement. It almost acts like a hard sinker. Other guys split their fingers a little bit farther on the baseball. That takes even more velocity off, and that becomes more like a straight changeup. And once again, it's one of those feel pitches. Some guys can split their fingers a little bit, throw a hard splitter. They split them a lot more and throw a real slow splitter. All about feel.
And trust.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to be right there. So it better have something on it. 0-1 to Goldie. There's Randall Delgado, throws a terrific changeup. But he will occasionally leave it up, and that's another example of what we're talking about.
Yeah, if you miss with the changeup or a split finger, you'd much prefer to bounce it in the dirt. Guys will chase that pitch. They'll get themselves out on that pitch. But boy, when you leave an off-speed pitch up in the zone, number one, it's easier for a hitter to identify and make adjustments even in mid-swing sometimes. And when you leave it up there belt high or above, it tends to get hit real hard.
Ramtrucks.com pool area here at Chase Field. Good night for it. Roof is open. Panels open. Gorgeous night. You're out there by the pool watching the Diamondbacks. Looks like a good group out there tonight. Got some food. Goldie has popped out to second and walked. He's 0 for 1.
Hey, D-backs fans, anytime the Diamondbacks score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Chatwood about to throw pitch number 90 here. And he strikes out Goldie, 2 down. First strikeout for Tyler Chatwood.
That hard sinker down and in, started it in Goldie's happy zone, that middle in part of the plate, but a lot of downward late movement.
Here's Eric Chavez, who last time up drove in the Diamondbacks' only run, a bases loaded sac fly. Diamondbacks have been out hit so far, 9-6. They trail it 2-1. Each team has stranded 6. Remember the guy that you caught over the years that threw a really good changeup?
Well, I caught a few guys that had a good changeup. We were in San Francisco on the last road trip. Mike Krukow was a guy that was a lot like Brandon McCarthy. He experimented with different grips, and eventually he found a split finger grip where he had the confidence that the grip itself was going to take enough velocity off of the pitch, and he used it as a changeup probably for the last 4 or 5 years of his career, and it was a really effective pitch for him. Caught a left-hander named Dave LaPointe that pitched a long time for the St. Louis Cardinals. He had a tremendous straight changeup. There's an old saying in the game, you never throw the same pitch 3 times in a row. I don't know who started it. It's obviously not adhered to. But Dave LaPointe could throw a changeup every pitch in an inning. He could go out there and throw 15 changeups in a row and get the ugliest looking swings you ever saw. And hitters would swear he was throwing a fastball. Josh Coleman, really good changeup.
Eric Chavez works a 2-out walk.
The Reds had a right-hander named Mario Soto, who had one of the best changeups I ever saw. He was unbelievable.
Left fielder, Martin Prado.
4 walks for Chatwood. Here's Prado, 0 for 2.
Hey, good news from Mobile. They won Game 3 of their playoff series against Birmingham. They were down 2-0. Andrew Chafin took the mound tonight through a 6-hit shutout. Put them right back in the series.
Another guy to keep your eye on in the Diamondback system, that's for sure. There's a strike 0-1. Prado, National League Player of the Month in August when he hit .374. But he is hitting under 190 in September. Oh, 2. Brian Gorman gave Chatwood that one.
Well, the Bay Bears are looking to three-peat in that Southern League. They've won the last 2 championships, looking for their 3rd in a row.
You do that in Double-A, you know you're doing something right in your organization, because that's where all the real talent is, right? Center field, that will get down for a base hit. Prado's aboard. A 2-out walk and a single for the Diamondbacks. Bring up Miguel Montero. And here's that walk-up music. It sounds like the guy's gargling.
Is that the Carpenters?
It's Kansas. All right. 9 people are going to tweet me a link now to that song. Miggy's been on base twice, a walk and a single. Now 100 pitches for Tyler Chatwood, 60 strikes and 40 balls. Chavez at second, Prado at first. Pitcher due up 4th in the next inning for the Rockies, so this figures to be his last inning. Colorado bullpen, as such, busy.
Walt Weiss with 13 relief pitchers at his disposal here tonight.
That's good news.
That's always good news. You can match up pitch for pitch.
Oh, sure, why not? 2-1 to Miggy. Miggy hitting over 270 in the 12 games since he returned from that back trouble. Here's Walt Weiss. Three and 1. Chatwood got a ground ball and a strikeout, but he has walked Chavez. He gave up a single to Prado, and now he's running 3 and 1 on Miggy.
Chatwood's spot is due up 4th in the top half of the 6th inning. Looks like he's emptying the tank out there. Last 2 or 3 pitches all in the mid to upper 90s.
3 and 2, 2 outs. His busiest inning of the night so far. Runners will be off with a pitch. Chavez at second, Prado at first. Here's the 3-2 to Miguel Montero. In the dirt, ball 4. The bases are loaded. He got 2 outs, then went walk, single, walk. And here comes Gerardo Parra. It's 5 walks issued by Tyler Chatwood. Jim Wright to the mound. Go Parra, number 8. Number 1 in our hearts. Gerardo so far has flied out and hit into a double play. Careful, you're going to hurt yourself.
It looked like that was just an opportunity to give Chatwood a little bit of a breather out there on the mound after this long inning, and probably a refresher course on the scouting report on Gerardo Parra.
Well, Chatwood had first and third, no outs in the first, got out of it. He had bases loaded, 1 out in the third, gave up only 1 run. He had 2 on and 1 out in the fourth, got a ground ball, and now he's got the bases loaded, 2 outs here in the 5th. So he has wiggled off the hook in nearly every inning. And the Diamondbacks have another chance here. 3 straight 2-out base runners. That one kicks away from Rosario. Here comes Chavez. He will score. The game is tied. Everybody moves up.
Rosario's been impressive in the early going tonight, blocking everything in the dirt, but that one he just kind of reaches across. Old habits die hard, tries to pick it cleanly out of the dirt, and it gets away, allowing the D-backs to tie this one up.
And 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs for Parra, who's ahead 2-0. Prado at third, Montero on second. Wild pitch charge to Rosario, or Chatwood, pardon me. 2-1. Well, he really is emptying the tank here. A ground ball, a strikeout, a walk, a single, a walk, and a wild pitch have brought in the tying run. And 2 big ones sitting on third and second right here. 3-1. Wheels just about off right now. Ball 4. 6th walk issued by Chatwood. 6 walks through 4 2/3.
That's a career high for Chatwood, the 6 walks in the ball game already, and Walt Weiss says seen enough. He'll take that slow walk out to the mound.
3 of the walks in this inning, all with 2 outs.
I don't think the Rockies had a lefty up in the bullpen. They only had 1 guy warming. He was a right-hander. They have 4 lefties available out of the bullpen. Kind of odd that they didn't have one up for Gerardo Parra and DIDI Gregorius.
We will take a break. Diamondbacks with DIDI coming up will have the bases loaded and 2 outs in a tie ball game. Walk 6, 3 in this half inning, all with 2 outs, and he's left a bases loaded mess for the left-hander, or the right-hander, pardon me, Rob Scahill, who was an 8th round pick out of Bradley by the Rockies in the 09 draft, his 18th appearance this year. He's a bats left, throws right guy, 6'2", 220.
Did a nice job, very limited action at the end of the season last year for the Rockies. Pitched in 6 ball games and pitched to an ERA of 1.04. Not a big-time strikeout guy. Does throw occasionally up into the mid to upper 90s with his fastball. Has a hard slider and occasional straight changeup. 6 walks, a career high for Tyler Chatwood in only 4 2/3.
Cahill pitched in 23 games in the minor leagues, went 5-1 with a 4.50 ERA. Prado at third, Montero at second, Parra at first. Bases loaded, 2 outs in a tie ball game, and here's DIDI, who singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Brian Gorman, the plate umpire here, says strike 1.
Yeah, we've seen Brian Gorman go way off that outside corner to the lefty several times in this ball game tonight. Tough one right there to start the sequence.
Well, Walt Weiss had brothers back there, Outman, Francis if you want them, all left-handers. With Montero, Parra, and Gregorius coming up for the Diamondbacks. And not only did he leave Chatwood in there, he's going to a right-hander here to work to DIDI with the bases full. On the ground to second, LeMahieu. Diamondbacks leave him loaded, but the tying run comes across. We are through 5. It's 2-2.
Right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Well, Diamondbacks have had their chances. Bases loaded again there. They've scored 2 runs. Neither run has scored on a hit. 1 sacrifice fly and 1 wild pitch. And so despite 6 walks by Tyler Chatwood, it's a 2-2 ball game as Brandon McCarthy opens up the 6th inning against Todd Helton, Nolan Arenado, and Charlie Blackmon. Go D-backs! Good crowd here on a Friday night at Chase Field. Roof and panels open, a beautiful night.
Well, if it seems like the Diamondbacks have left the bases loaded an awful lot this year, that's because they have. The Dodgers going into play tonight led the National League with 60 bases loaded situations, leaving 3 guys on. The Reds were second with 59. The D-backs had 57, tied with the Giants coming into play tonight, but now they move into 3rd place all by themselves.
Todd Helton moves into the batter's box. He is 0 for 2. Helton opens up the 6th against McCarthy. 75 pitches, 61 for strikes. He has thrown only 14 balls tonight. And he's ahead again, 0-1. That's the strikeout. 2nd strikeout for McCarthy. 1 away in the 6th.
Got Helton a chase. Boy, I'd love to see what Brandon could do with a full season pitching like this. There's all kinds. The ceiling just seems so high. If he could stay healthy and get a changeup grip that he felt comfortable with, at least to throw it, 8-10% of the time, he could really be a dominant pitcher.
It's really been encouraging to see how his sinker has come along this year. That was an inconsistent pitch for him in the early going. The cutter that's kind of been there and gone and back and gone, that's improved here at the end of the season. He'll mix in an occasional curveball, but yeah, you're right. With that straight changeup to go along with his two fastballs moving opposite directions, that could be something special.
Oh, 2. Just keeps. Look at the previous pitch that he got for that second strike. Just burying that pitch into the righty. Look on Arenado's face. Reaches down and gets that. Pokes it to center. Eaton comes in. 2 down. And this is the record over the last 3 games. I mean, he went all the way in that loss to the Blue Jays. 1 walk. He is a ground ball pitcher, will occasionally get some strikeouts, but he's happy to pitch to contact. He does not walk guys. Charlie Blackmon 0 for 2. And he's had that command tonight. Down the line in right. Pulled foul. 68 strikes and 15 balls. He's ahead again 0-1. Tony Sipp loosening for the Diamondbacks. Only got 1 lefty coming up. That's the leadoff man, Dickerson. 0-2. Sharp and crisp, a lot of movement. That's the Brandon McCarthy we've seen the last few starts. Up the middle, base hit. That's 10 hits for the Rockies. Ten hits, and all but 1 of them have come with 2 outs.
Pinch hitter for Ron Stadium, number 15, Jordan Pacheco.
10 hits, 9 singles, 9 of them with 2 outs. Jordan Pacheco will hit for the pitcher.
Jordan Pacheco has been the most used pinch hitter by the Rockies this season. This will be his 34th, possibly his 34th at bat of the season off the bench. 8 for 33 with 4 RBIs coming into play tonight as a pinch hitter.
Another strike 1 from Brandon. Ram trucks down Poole. Jordan Pacheco, University of New Mexico, 9th round pick in 07. Blackmon is back safely, says Manny Gonzalez.
What do you think, Bob? McCarthy's spot is due to lead off the 6th. He's had excellent command, as we've talked about. He's at 88 pitches. You could get another inning out of him if you needed to.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because he is pitching extremely well once again tonight. Oh, that one sneaks through.
Past the diving Goldschmidt. Blackman will stop at second. They're going to play on, and Gerardo Parra throws them out. He has done it again. Gerardo Parra. Blackman overran the bag. Parra saw it, came charging in, and he threw him out. Ha!
Default Blackman right there. The real key to this play was DIDI Gregorius. He got himself into a cut position, but when he saw Blackman round the bag and stop at second, he stepped up to the base so that Parra had a target to throw to right there. I mean, Gerardo, as he scooped up that ball, was prepared to throw it to third. DIDI was lined up for a throw to third, but when he saw the guy stop, he stepped up to the base. Parra delivered a rocket right on the money for his 16th assist of the year.
The most in the major leagues. Tony Campana will hit for Brandon McCarthy, so McCarthy's night ends here. They elect to go with the pinch hitter here. It's Tony Campana against the new Rockies pitcher. This is number 0, Adam Ottavino. And he can go generally more than 1 inning. He's got 23 appearances this year of at least 2 innings. So they pull the plug on McCarthy after another impressive effort. Only 2 runs allowed, both in the first. The 11 hits, 10 of them coming with 2 outs, all singles. He's our APS Energy All-Star. No walks, 2 strikeouts. He was tremendously efficient. Tony Campana, 1 hit in his last 10 at-bats. He's at .289 on the year.
I tell you, I'm still kind of puzzled. We're seeing another right-handed pitcher on the mound for the Rockies. We mentioned they have 4 lefties available out of the pen. Kirk Gibson had 5 left-handed hitters in his starting lineup and a pinch hitter coming off the bench. The only lefty he has available, Tony Campana, but yet it's a right-hander on the mound.
High chopper. Campana can run. Rosario can't handle it, and he's aboard. Speed equals pressure, and Rosario felt it right there.
Boy, if Tony Campana could do this every at bat, you may never get him out. And you're right, Rosario knew he had to hurry, come sprinting out from behind the plate, tried to grab it and throw all in one motion, and just didn't come up with it cleanly. Right off that trampoline home plate, high in the air. No chance.
He is the go-ahead run with that great speed at first. Top of the order, Adam Eaton. Eaton is 2 for 3. He has singled, doubled, and scored a run. Tony Campana 6 for 8 in stolen base attempts this year. Eaton shows bunt, but it's foul. Diamondbacks often in these situations, especially with Campana and Eaton at first. We've talked about this over the last few weeks. Have played these types of deals somewhat conservatively. Guys have not been running.
Rosario, we mentioned some of his defensive issues earlier in the season. He's thrown out 23% of the attempted base stealers this season. Does have a strong throwing arm, but occasionally in his haste to get rid of the ball quickly, he can lose the handle.
I imagine that's when footwork and technique really comes into play.
Oh, it's important all the time, but yeah, when you need to throw that ball down to second base in a hurry, it's multitasking. Your feet have to do one thing. You've got to close your upper body so your shoulder's pointing toward the target. Try to find the seams on the baseball so you can make an accurate throw, and you have to do it all in about, I don't know, 1.2 seconds. Yeah, you just don't have a lot of time back there to make sure you have a good grip, make sure you're throwing directly at your target. You just try to unload it as quickly as you can.
Eaton way out ahead of that last one. He's behind 0-2. Long pause by Adam Ottavino, and Eaton will get time from Brian Gorman. Campana holds. Rosario throws to first, and he's back in time.
It appeared to be a by design pickoff that time. Rosario moved way out on the outside corner. He had called for an off-speed pitch. The idea being that on the off-speed pitch, Campana would get a little bit bigger secondary lead, and then Rosario came out of the chute ready to fire to first base the whole way. Really gets out there, comes out of the chute, fires over the head of Adam Eaton, but Tony Campana is not only quick going to second, he's quick getting back to first.
There goes Campana. Pitches outside. Rosario couldn't quite get it out of the glove, did not have a good grip on it. And that's a stolen base for Campana. Go ahead run in scoring position with no outs.
So many things can go wrong when you have to drag the ball from that position back to your throwing hand. All those things I talked about a moment ago, just too many things to do in too short a time, and with Campana running, no chance.
He is so quick out there. It just shortens the clock on no matter what you're trying to do. Field it, grab it, throw it. That creates pressure, and that leads to mistakes. 2-2. Chases that one in the dirt. He did not get a piece of it, says Brian Gorman. First out of the inning. That's the strikeout. First for Adam Ottavino.
Second baseman, Aaron Hill.
He really lunges out there on his front foot. Looked like the ball skipped off of home plate as Rosario does another nice job of blocking the ball.
Good call by Brian Gorman as Adam was campaigning that it hit his bat and not the plate, but he appears to have gotten the call right. So here's Aaron Hill, who has been on base twice, and walk and a single. He's 1 for 2. DJ LeMahieu going back and forth between his position at second and the second base bag. Looked like there might be a play on, so Aaron Hill stepped out. Looks at a strike, 0-1.
Well, you can tell the difference when there's a base stealer on second base as opposed to somebody who's just going to try to score on a base hit. Most guys take their lead off second base behind the baseline so they can easily round the bag at third. Campana is almost right in the baseline because that's the most direct line to third base should he pick a pitch to try to run on.
There he goes, and he's in there. Pitch was down and away from Aaron Hill. Rosario had to go behind the left-hand batter's box to field it, and Campana has stolen second and now third.
Good read. Tony Campana saw that pitch was going to be in the dirt, immediately broke for third. Arenado caught by surprise down there at third base. He can't even get to the bag. Speed, man, does it change the game.
Campana at third. He's the go-ahead run. 1-1 to Aaron Hill. Infield in on the edge of the grass with Campana at third. That's a ball, 2-1. He did not go, says Manny Gonzalez. Josh Outman and his stirrup socks are warming up.
You don't even need to put a graphic up. All you need to do is see his socks. You know who that is.
It is very helpful, I'll say that. It's his fashion statement. Two and two. Down the line in right, and that is foul. And the guy fielding that over there is Harold Flieger, our Golden Glover. Getting a look at where the infield is playing for the Rockies. Three and two.
Which is a real thrill for those defenders on the left side of the infield. That dead pull hitter at the plate. You know something's going to come hot down your way.
One of those L screens out there for those guys. Goldie on deck. He chased it, and that's the second strikeout. Couldn't hold up. So it's up to Goldie.
So point out quickly before Goldie's at bat, that was not a stolen base at third by Tony Campana, since he was not running on the pitch and the ball was in the dirt. They've ruled that he advanced on a wild pitch.
That's interesting, even though Rosario fielded it cleanly. Yeah. Here's Goldie. He's going to get the free pass.
'17th of the season for Paul Goldschmidt.
This will be his second walk tonight. It's funny, 20 games without a home run for Goldie. But because he's been taking so many walks, his on-base percentage during this home run drought is .430. That of the intentional variety puts him on the corners with two down for Eric Chavez.
mentioned 17 intentional walks for Goldie. That paces the way in the National League.
All right, little delay there, so Walt Weiss can come out here and go get out of Vino. You've got the left-hander coming up, Chavez. We showed you the lefty Outman was warming. And here he comes with his stirrup socks. Another chance for the Diamondbacks here. With 2 outs, we'll take a break. And 2 outs for Eric Chavez, and the new pitcher for the Rockies, it's the left-hander Josh Outman.
Number 88 in your program, fastball, slider, changeup combination from Outman.
Let's see, opposing left-hand hitters are hitting only 200 against him. So he's holding lefties to a 200 average this year, and Eric Chavez might hit it to the moon, Norton.
Well, lefties have not bothered Eric Chavez lately. 7 for his last 16. That's a .438 average with a double, a triple, and has driven in 4.
7 for his last 16. Chavez has driven in a run with a sacrifice fly. He's also walked and scored. Tony Campana, the go-ahead run at third. Paul Goldschmidt at first. They are keeping an eye on Campana, who is zigzagging up and down, back and forth on that third base line. He shook up the entire infield.
That to the point where Rosario jumped out from behind home plate.
Well, you got a left-hander on the mound. He got to second with a stolen base, to third on a wild pitch. You want to get nuts here, send him in.
Well, I don't think it's out of the question. If Chavez happens to fall behind in the count here, get to a 2-strike count, you may see Goldie break for second base, try to get caught in a run down, create some confusion on the part of the Rockies defense, and try to steal a run.
Put as much pressure on Rosario back there as you can right now. 1-0 to Chavez.
I've seen teams that in a similar situation with a left-handed pitcher on the mound and great speed at third base intentionally get that runner picked off at first. Have Goldie take an extra couple steps over what his normal lead would be, trying to draw that pickoff throw from the left-hander, and in the meantime, Tony Campana would take off and try to score from third base.
There goes Goldie. No throw from Rosario. Campana does have a steal of home this year at AAA Reno. 14th steal for Goldie. Now, does this change anything with Goldschmidt at second?
Not really. I mean, unless Goldie is one of those guys that's relaying signs to the hitter at the plate. Obviously, it puts another runner into scoring position, but it does open up a base. Outman could elect to be very careful here with Chavez, but then you're going to have to deal with Martin Prado. So I think he's just going to attack Chavez right here on this 2-2 pitch.
Popped him up. Tulowitzki in shallow left. Diamondbacks strand 2 more. We are through 6 in a tie game at Chase Field. Come in here for 4 Monday, and we'd like to see you out here protecting our home turf wearing a brand new Sedona Red t-shirt. Every day the 4-game series against LA, we are handing out 5,000 Sedona Red t-shirts with different WeBack slogans. So make sure you get your tickets for this whole series. Get all 4 shirts, 602-462-4600. Log on to dbacks.com/tickets. Bob Brentley's over there with all. I see you've got all the shirts already over there.
I'll show you tomorrow. Yeah. Right. Nice. They look good.
Will Harris on for the Diamondbacks, his 54th appearance. I guess when you're with the band, you get all kinds of stuff that
all that swag
other people don't have access to. Corey Dickerson leads it off. Dickerson has a pair of singles. He's 2 for 3. Will Harris, 13 of his last 15 appearances have been scoreless. And he has been outstanding since May 22nd. 3-0, a 1.64 ERA. He's another LSU guy. Got a whole bunch of them in the ball game. Aaron Hill talked about DJ LeMahieu, their second baseman, is on deck. Corey Dickerson has had a breakthrough year. He's become a guy to watch in this organization. Started the year at AAA Colorado, hit .371 there. He was in the minors for the Rockies' first 75 games, called up at the end of June. Walt Weiss says Dickerson reminds him of a young Michael Kadire. As you can see, just kept getting better all year long, playing sporadically, which is hard to do. I bet.
It's not easy to do when you're not getting regular at bats, and your first go round, everybody's developing a book, and yet you get better month by month by month.
Well, he hit only .212 during the first half of the year, but since the All-Star break, he's hit about .310. RamTrucks.com pool. Two and two. Went down and got it and drops it down the line in right. Dickerson takes the turn and heads for second. That's his 13th double. Did he hit that off the ground?
Sometimes you just got to dig him out.
He might have Ichiro'd this one.
Well, I mean, that's a curveball. He did hit it off the bounce. Yeah, that ball bounced out in front of home plate, and he still squares it up and hits a double down in the left field corner. Are you kidding me?
Corey Dickerson doing his best Ichiro Suzuki.
Wow.
This ain't cricket. He turns it into a double.
Where are you supposed to waste a curveball if guys are hitting them on a bounce?
Their 12th hit. DJ LeMahieu is 1 for 3, singled in the second.
I mentioned earlier LeMahieu going to LSU, very solid fundamental player. I fully expect him to try to move the ball to the right side right here. Look for a pitch from the middle of the plate away. Lead with your hands. Let the barrel of the bat drag behind, almost guaranteeing you're going to hit it to the right side.
Elevates, he swings through 1-1. LeMahieu handles himself pretty well against right-hand pitchers, .290 or so versus righties this year. And with runners in scoring position, he's almost a .300 hitter. Harris jumps out ahead 1-2.
LeMahieu 7 for his last 12 with runners in scoring position. 5 RBIs, couple of doubles.
Look, potato chips. Ooh,
that's cruel.
Start him young. Base hit. Dickerson will be waved in. Martin Prado scoops it up. There is no throw, and the Rockies take a 3-2 lead. 25th RBI for DJ LeMahieu, who is 2 for 4.
Well, instead of moving it to the right side, he took that curveball and found the hole on the left side. Didi was jockeying the runner out there at second base, and the hole was just too inviting. Kind of an awkward turn there by Dickerson, but that ball really slowed down on the outfield grass. He's able to score without a play.
And you're going to see his double on a few highlight films, that's for sure. Tulowitzki. He is 2 for 3 with a pair of singles. He scored a run. He's at .312 on the year. And he's got big time home road splits. Talk about the Coors Field effect, and exactly the same number of games this year. Look at this. .350 at Coors. He is under .270 on the road. Same number of home runs, also almost the same number of RBIs, but the split is somewhat exaggerated this year. Career Tulo .314 at Coors, about a 40-point jump over his career average on the road, but this year .350 at home, .270 away from home. Drops it in there for a strike, 1-1. 13 hits for the Rockies, 8 for the Diamondbacks. D-backs have stranded 11 tonight through 6 innings. Everything's up from Will Harris. You can see Miguel Montero. Phone ringing in the Diamondback bullpen. 3-1. LeMahieu takes off. Tulowitzki knocks it into center. LeMahieu heads for third. He'll make it. First and third, no outs for the Rockies. 3 straight base hits greet Will Harris in the 7th. Charles Nagy to the mound.
With LeMahieu on the move, a cutter that just stayed out there over the outer part of the plate. Tulowitzki takes it right back up the middle of the field. LeMahieu with no hesitation able to advance on to third. You know, I think Will Harris might be feeling a little extra pressure tonight. This is the organization that drafted him in the 9th round back in '06 and breezed through their minor league system. Really did a nice job at the minor league level and got a little bit of a taste at the major league level. And that was it. He was gone. Diamondbacks glad to have him, but there's always a little extra edge when you're facing the team that drafted you and then let you go.
Well, same for Chaz Rowe, who's up and throwing. He was a first-round pick by the Rockies in '05. He was actually drafted ahead of Clay Buchholz. So Tulo 3 for 4. Here's Kadire. So far is 2 for 3. A single, a double. He scored a run. Leading the National League in hitting. 0-1. Leading the league, and his average has gone up tonight. It's been that kind of year for Kadire. First round pick by the Twins back in '97. Tulowitzki takes off for second. Montero throws down there, but he's in there safely.
That one-hop curveball. Miggy with a nice block. Tulo, however, read the trajectory of that pitch. He was off for second base before that ball even hit the dirt.
Wild pitch. Second and third, still nobody out. Infield comes in now.
Away with a hanger there. That pitch was so bad it worked out good. Shoulder high curveball, and Kadire just couldn't get on top of it, but couldn't take it either. Fouls it straight back.
A hanging nothing ball. Two and two. On the ground is Chavez at third. He'll come home. LeMahieu is out. Tulowitzki to third. Kadire reaches.
Kind of a slow developing play at the plate. That two-hopper to Chavez. He has to back up to play that second hop. His throw is to the infield side. Woo, that is a lot closer than it looked initially. Miggy had a long way to bring that tag back to get LeMahieu. I think we got a break there.
Ryan Gorman, the crew chief, is the plate umpire. Oh. Looks like his foot is in there. Willeen Rosario 1 for 3. He singled in 2 back in the first. So much dirt flying around there, it's hard to tell exactly when the foot touched the plate in regard to the tag from Miggy. But the Diamondbacks get the call for the first out. Tulowitzki on third, Kadire on first. 0-1 to Rosario.
Nice stop there with a runner at third base. That curved ball in the dirt. And no argument from the Rockies bench. Walt Weiss has yet to get ejected from a game this year. He's not trying.
Do you want to go your whole first year without getting tossed at least once?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. Just not his style, I guess.
Steady diet of curveballs here to start the sequence to Rosario. First one was really good. Next couple, not so much.
Jazz Rowe is ready in the Diamondback bullpen. Tony Sipp is up and throwing again. 2-1. Center field, Adam Eaton. That ball gets down. Tulowitzki will score. Kadire will score. And Rosario is in there with a 2-run double. And it's 5-2 Colorado. 4 RBIs for Rosario tonight. That's the 4th hit in this inning against Will Harris, and here comes Kirk Gibson.
4th consecutive curveball of the sequence. This one hanging up over the middle of the plate, belt high. Rosario just drove it out there to that gap in right center field.
Will Harris exits. It's 5-2 Rockies. We'll take a break from Chase Field. Two Rockies lead, and on for the Diamondbacks, and on for the 300th time in his major league career. It's the pride of Pascagoula, Mississippi. This is Tony Sipp. He's been outstanding lately for the D-backs. Last 17 games, he's got 19 strikeouts and an ERA just over 2.
Sipp on to face Todd Helton, the left-handed hitter.
Willeen Rosario, a 2-run single in the first and a 2-run double here in the 7th, has made it a 5-2 ball game. Helton is 0 for 3. Mentioned Rosario was only 3 RBIs behind Jonathan Lucroy, the Brewers, for the most in the National League by a catcher, and he has driven in 4 tonight.
It's a career high for Rosario, the 4 RBI. Actually, it ties his career high.
Walt Weiss has said that Rosario is a kid that is going to hit for a high average. He's not going to be a 240 guy. He's going to be a good hitter that hits for power. 2-0 to Helton. There's a strike, 2-1. Helton's been in these spots before, once or twice. Helton's only 4 RBIs away from 1,400 for his career. Up here in an RBI chance, 2-2. Three and 2 to Helton. Nolan Arenado is on deck. Ball 4.
I think you almost have to go to the right-hander now for Arenado. He's a over 300 hitter against left-handed pitching, 258 against righties, and Gibby's on his way out to the mound.
He's had Chaz Rowe ready for a while here. And here he comes, another former Rocky. We take a break at Chase Field. Andy Roddick and Carissa Thompson as they bring you all the scores, news, and highlights you need. Catch Fox Sports Live nightly on Fox Sports 1. Rockies threatening again here and on for the Diamondbacks. You've already seen Will Harris. It's another former Rocky. This is the right-hander Chaz Rowe on for the 13th time this year. Chaz Rowe, first-round pick by the Rockies in 05, 32nd overall selection. Drafted out of Lafayette High School in Lexington, Kentucky. Nolan Arenado 0 for 3. Waleed Rosario the runner at second. Todd Helton at first. 3 runs in the inning for Colorado. Chaz Rowe never pitched above AAA for the Rockies. He was let go by Colorado, pitched a year in AAA for Seattle in 2011, and wound up pitching independent ball last year for the Laredo Lemurs of the American Association. His manager there is former Ranger Pete Incaviglia. He's hooked up with the Diamondbacks now, and here he is in the big leagues. The Laredo Lemurs.
How about that?
It's nice work. That's one of the better ones, I gotta say. 1 and 2. Dropped it in there for a called strike 3. Joe Thatcher. We've got a left-hander warming, left-hand hitter stepping in, and Charlie Blackmon. Blackmon singled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Singled and then overran second base on a base hit by Pacheco and was thrown out by Gerardo Parra. 1-0. Big difference right there. Diamondbacks have stranded 11 base runners tonight. Hard to right. That one is well hit. And it's off the wall. Rosario scores. They wave Helton. And Blackmon hits for third. 2-run triple for Charlie Blackmon, his second triple this year. And it's a 7-2 Rockies lead. Just missed a home run.
Just a spinning slider right in the middle of the plate. That ball had a chance to get out of here off the bat. Parra chases it all the way over there in that corner, and unfortunately it takes a real awkward bounce off of that padding and gets by Gerardo, allowing Helton to come around to score. Blackmon ends up at third base with a triple.
So it's turned into a 5-run Colorado 7th and a 7-2 Rockies lead. And now Outman, the pitcher, will hit.
Josh Outman.
We got expanded rosters. Okay. Well, DIDI Gregorius. Wow. Another DIDI defensive gem ends the 7th, but the Rockies get 5 across. DIDI Gregorius ends the inning. And the Diamondbacks have some work to do here, down 5. joins us in the booth. And Joe, we get to watch this up close and personal. I bet it looks just as good on TV.
Oh, he's just impressive, and he's not afraid to show off his arm. He tempts runners to try and go. He holds that ball an extra second, trying to lure them into taking that extra base. But what a great job he does out there.
Here he is throwing out Charlie Blackmon earlier in the ball game. That's our Ram Trucks Tools of the Trade. Gerardo Parra leading the universe in outfield assists. And perhaps another Gold Glove on the way to join the one that's already on the mantle. Joe Borowski joins us here in the booth. That was a disappointing inning, but another positive outing for Brandon McCarthy. Joe, what did you see from Brandon today?
He couldn't throw a ball. It was unbelievable. He was pounding the strike zone, and I thought he's really, over his last several outings, doing a great job of pitching inside. He's really getting a lot of outs inside, and his cutter has really, really gotten sharp lately. He used some good curveballs tonight, but overall, very impressive.
Nice. Built some momentum here. We've seen it now. Before, Bob, it seemed with Brandon in the first half, a good start here, a good start there. But now it's 3, 4, 5 in a row.
And building on each one. You mentioned the sinker inside to the righties. He's not afraid to bury that ball in there. And quite honestly, that was a problem on a couple of games on that last road trip. D-backs pitchers just weren't going inside enough. And the cutter, which is a pitch I wasn't real crazy about early in the season. I felt maybe he fell in love with it a little bit. But it is much sharper, much crisper. His command has been better. And when he's using those two pitches and commanding him, he really doesn't need much else.
This is Brandon McCarthy. Joe, what are you seeing here?
And the biggest thing is you love a pitcher that pounds the strike zone. But I saw him get hurt tonight a lot of times when he was way up in a count, 0-2, 1-2. In that situation, especially when Colorado's realizing you're throwing so many strikes, maybe bury a few in the dirt. Don't leave it out there so that they're knowing, hey, he's going to be in a strike zone. No matter what the count is, we have to be ready. I think he would have been a little bit more effective as far as giving up a lot of hits if he would have buried some of those.
Well, a lot of positives to take away from tonight, certainly for Brandon McCarthy and the Diamondbacks rotation moving forward. As Martin Prado leads off the 7th against Josh Outman. Prado, Montero, Parra, 5, 6, and 7. 7-2 ball game now after a 5-run Colorado 7th. Prado singled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Joe, do you think we'll ever see a day when the Rockies contend? Because they're going to have to, no matter how many good young hitters they have and they can collect, they have their superstars in Cargo and Tulo. They have their good young guys that you like a lot, like Arenado and LeMahieu and some other guys. But will they ever actually contend? Because they have to get the pitching to get there.
And that's the toughest thing, especially pitching in Coors Field, is you're going to need more than your 5 starters as well, because it's very difficult to pitch there. It takes a toll, and I know that it always did for me whenever I would pitch there. And then it wasn't so much pitching there, it was when we left there that I would feel that strain on my arm just being that high altitude, and my arm would go through a period of being dead for a while. So unless they can get guys to come in there, and their best bet is being guys from the farm, but it's tough to bring in veteran guys that are going to go to Colorado and pitch. They've tried that before with, Hampton's a perfect example of overspending to bring someone in there that's had success other places. It's just a tough place to really sell pitchers to come to.
I'll tell you how they'll contend again.
Oh, what do you got?
Blake Street Bombers.
Forget up, the pitching. Give up.
Outslug them every night.
12-10.
12-10, 15-14. The fans loved it. The players loved it.
Yeah.
The ballpark and the city are built for it. Why not embrace it,
I'm not sure there's a bigger challenge in Major League Baseball than making this organization a winner. And I don't mean that as a knock against the Rockies, just given the circumstances.
Well, like Joe said, if you're a free agent pitcher and you're out there shopping around for your next job, nobody's going to go to Colorado.
Hey, call the Rockies.
No. I mean, it's just an impossible place to pitch, and they've tried hard throwers. They've tried sinker ballers. They've tried change-ups. They've tried every possible style of pitching that there is, and nothing has worked with any, amount of success for any period of time.
And the thing with it is, it's not always that you're giving up the long ball. The field is so big, and the outfielders have to play so deep.
It's massive.
You wind up giving up balls that are routine fly balls that fall in. So you're just getting base runner after base runner, and then you give up the big home run. It's just a very difficult place to pitch.
It's a real challenge. I don't envy Bill Guyvette and all the group here. It's very much, and you mentioned the free agents, it's much like Seattle for hitters. No agent worth of salt is going to let his guy sign with the Mariners because the numbers are going to vanish. And it's the same for pitchers. You have to scout, draft, and develop your own guys. And you see right there, I mean, the Phillies play in a nice, friendly hitter's ballpark too, but they have Hamels and those guys, Cliff Lee, Halladay. You can get guys to go to Philadelphia. You're not getting them to go to Colorado. Miggy on base for the 4th time tonight, 2 singles and 2 walks. Diamondbacks live with Joe Borowski and Todd Walsh right after the ball game here tonight. BB, you might have nailed it. I don't know if there is another solution.
I mean, I just remember those days with Vinny Castillo and Todd Helton and Larry Walker and Dante Bichette and the big cat Andres Galarraga. Oh man, they were bringing the thunder every night. I mean, not just base hits, not just working counts. They were hitting the ball out of sight every night.
And the fans were into it.
They were digging it. They didn't, they weren't winning that much, but boy, it was a fun brand of baseball to watch.
Up the middle, Tulowitzki, LeMahieu, Helton, they roll another double play, and that ends the inning. Joe, thanks. We'll see you on Diamondbacks Live.
Looking forward to it.
Day one, and John has been a huge part of that relationship. He was loved and respected by all who knew him, and he was a man that was known for his passion to give back to the community, which is, of course, something the Diamondbacks cherish. So our sincere condolences to the family of John Flora. He will be missed.
Yeah, definitely.
Chazro back out there for the 8th inning. Corey Dickerson leads it off. He is 3 for 4. He's doubled and scored a run. That one right to Goldie for a quick out number 1 here in the 8th.
Second baseman, DJ LeMahieu.
DJ LeMahieu
is 2 for 4, a pair of singles. He's got an RBI. $31,713. Good crowd. With the roof and panels open on a Friday night in downtown Phoenix. Another great crowd expected tomorrow for this series on Miggy Bobblehead Day. Don't forget, they've got the Hispanic Heritage Street Festival before the game, so get here early. Tomorrow is a 5:10 start. You can wear your glove on your head, that's fine. 5:10 start tomorrow. Miggy Bobblehead Day. So another big weekend at Chase Field. The only Miggy bobblehead in existence before the trip went with us to San Francisco and LA. Might have seen some photos of the Miggy bobblehead on the Twitter.
Did he make it back from the road trip?
Well, there is news on that. It's funny you mention that.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to say it made it through the entire trip. It did not survive the flight home.
Ooh.
I've got to get some kind of special container built during the off season for the bobbleheads to make the road trips, because they are not able to make it back safely. You know, there's that saying, no man is left behind. Yeah. Not true for bobbleheads. It was great. Had a great time in San Francisco. The Miggy bobblehead got out there around McCovey Cove. Remember the Goldie bobblehead? The Goldie one broke before we left.
Yeah.
We did a bad job on that. Aaron Hill was fine. Aaron Hill went to Miami. The Aaron Hill bobblehead when we were down there playing the Marlins. But the Miggy bobblehead was great in San Fran, great in L.A., fighting the L.A. traffic. But it was in the old backpack on the flight home and didn't make it.
Maybe the bobblehead should have his own seat up in first class.
Well, that's the problem with expanded rosters. There's no room for bobbleheads.
That's true. Can't buckle him in.
Plus, you're bringing your guitar on all these flights. and a mandolin that Kruko gave you.
Yeah, well, they went. Yeah, the mandolin went on the plane. The guitar went underneath.
Mandolin seems like something a troubadour would play. You know, the guys with the funny pants?
Well, I have some funny pants at home.
By the way, the last road trip is coming up. Speaking of funny pants, I think the rookies might be in trouble.
Rookie hazing.
I've heard talk of outfits and costumes that have been purchased. So look for the unique photos coming on the Twitter for the next road trip. Could be some embarrassing moments.
Ooh. Pretty good slider right out there on the outside corner. A guy that's been calling a wide zone all night long chooses not to call that one.
As J.J. puts, there's Brian Gorman, the crew chief, who did not give Chaz Rowe the strike call there. Now it's full 3-2. J.J., I'm told, has been shopping. There's the strikeouts. Second for Chaz Rowe, 2 down. J.J.'s kind of he is the ringleader and kind of the instigator of those types of things. And I'm told he's been actively shopping for the most embarrassing outfits he could find.
I was very fortunate. My rookie hazing only involved shoes. There was a shoe store in Atlanta that used to sell, I mean, you know, those old platforms. Who was it? Frenchie Fuqua from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah,
that had
nice
the
work.
goldfish in the in the plastic soles of the shoe. We had to wear shoes. That was as bad as it got. Thank you very much.
Embarrassing shoes?
Yeah.
I would expect in those days it'd be guys, you know, holding you down, shaving off your eyebrows. Something like that.
No, it was pretty mellow. I was able to skate through relatively unscathed.
Nice work. Tulowitzki 3 for 4 tonight, 3 singles. Pops that one high in the air to Adam Eaton center. And Chaz Rowe works a 1-2-3-8. Home half coming up. Diamondbacks down 7-2.
Just get in the field early and just getting all your work in is the biggest thing, and just trying to settle down. The first start was pretty nerve-wracking out there, so just trying to get here, and that second start felt 10 times better. Just trying to settle down and just realize it's still baseball, and just play your game.
But with the expanded rosters, plenty of promising young Diamondbacks talent getting the chance to see what life in the big leagues is all about. And Chris Owings, who's on deck right now, certainly one of those guys who is really enjoying the experience so far. Talking to Kirk Gibson earlier today about what he wants to see from these guys. It's just, preparation, what he talked about right there. It was interesting. He said on this last road trip, Paul Goldschmidt, who's certainly not a veteran, was one of the guys pulling the young guys aside and showing them how, he watches video, how he prepares for games, and how he uses technology. And that's kind of what this clubhouse is all about, helping the young guys to flourish at this level.
It's a great atmosphere. There's no question about that, Brad, and a great chance for the Diamondbacks and Diamondbacks fans to see some guys like Chris Owings. Chad Bettis out for the 8th for the Rockies. And we're to Gregorius, Owings, and Eaton. 8, 9, and 1. Chris Owings on deck. He'll hit for the pitcher. And these two guys right here, the batter and the on-deck hitter. It's interesting. Trying to figure that out. Two assets, there's no question. How do you best utilize those assets?
That is a good question, and it's not out of the question that one or the other, or possibly both, may have to change positions. I mean, it's a great position to have some depth, because everybody's always looking for good defensive shortstops that can swing the bat a little bit. In the case of Owings, he can swing the bat a lot.
DIDI drives it to left center. Corey Dickerson makes a nice catch.
DIDI, obviously a superior defender that is starting to show some signs of coming out of the doldrums with the bat a little bit. If you can play shortstop, you can probably play just about anywhere on the field. It's not unusual to see guys move from shortstop to center field, shortstop to second base, occasionally shortstop to third base.
But here's the problem. If you're going to move one guy, you got Prado, who's locked up. You got Aaron Hill, who's locked up.
And Matt Davidson knocking on the door at third base.
Cliff Pennington has done a terrific job defensively all year long. He play everywhere. He's played some third base even this year, second and short. Really held down the fort when Aaron Hill was injured. Willie was injured. Chris Owings, of course, a lot of upside after his great year at AAA Reno. Folks at Baseball Prospectus had a nice write-up on Chris not too long ago. They projected him as a major league player who will hit between 270, 275, 15 homers, 20 stolen bases, play above average defense. And if you can start taking more walks, get consistently on base a little bit more, maybe even better than that.
Well, this is a frightening thought for the rest of the National League, but as good as the defense has been for the Diamondbacks this year, if they settle on a shortstop to go along with Aaron Hill at second base and give those guys an opportunity to get some rhythm, get to know each other a little bit better, oh man, the defense is just going to get better.
Well, with the mix this year, bringing up DIDI and adding Pennington, and then you had Willie, who then he got hurt and missed long stretches of the year. They just haven't been able to have a consistent guy, and it's kind of turned into almost a year-long audition that is continuing here all the way through the end of September at the position. The guy that surprised me was Cliff Pennington. I knew he was a good defender, but he has made some plays this year. Wow, very underrated defensively.
He saved a lot of runs with his glove this year.
Just played superb defense. Owings chases that one in the dirt. And they complete the strikeout, 2 down.
Center field, Adam Eaton.
Well, as you can imagine, those postseason meetings, the organizational get-togethers, when you bring in all your minor league managers and coaches and all your front office staff, your big league staff, and you sit down in a room and you got a big board up there with every player in the organization. It's going to be a tough meeting this offseason for the Diamondbacks. I mean, tough in a good way. A lot of good players trying to figure out how it best fits together.
Well, Kevin Towers was saying this, well, this week. There's a need for a bat, and a significant bat, to go along with Goldie. KT was public about that and speaking with the media here. So go about acquiring that bat in a number of ways. Back to third, Arenado. So 1, 2, 3, 8. We'll head to the ninth. It's a 7-2 Rockies lead. Going all weekend long. It's kind of an extra inning theme to the question. Your favorite extra inning game this year, and so far, more than half of you saying April 18th at the Yankees. We flash back. DIDI Gregorius, first pitch he saw as a Diamondback, he hit out for a homer off Phil Hughes at Yankee Stadium. And this one went back and forth. Boy, that seems like a long time ago.
It sure does. I think a lot of people voted for it just because we beat the Yankees.
That's why I voted for it. I got no problem with that. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks, the right-hander Matt Langwell, acquired in the Jason Kubel deal from Cleveland. He's out of Rice University, 11th round pick by the Indians in the 08 draft. He looked good actually Monday against the Dodgers with a couple of strikeouts. Worked 1 1/3, retired all 4 batters he faced. Here's Kadire. He has singled, doubled, and scored twice. So far, Matt Langwell, you figured, okay, they're going to essentially give Jason Kubel away because there's some money involved there as well. But they got Matt Langwell in that deal. And, yeah, so far, looks like a pretty good arm. Guy that could be in the mix for next year. 6'2", 220. Went to high school in College Station, Texas, where Texas A&M is, but he played his college ball at Rice in Houston. Pitched in only 5 games for the Indians last year.
Good minor league numbers for Langwell with the Indians organization. Over 500 record. His ERA 2.92. 6 seasons in the minor leagues. Less than a hit per inning pitched. More than a strikeout per inning pitched.
Yeah, he worked 42 games at AAA Columbus this year and had a 2.24 ERA, and he rings up Kadire to open the 9th. 60 innings at AAA for Langwell this year. 54 hits allowed and 52 strikeouts. He walked only 19. It goes back to the way Kevin Towers, Bob, has been
famous now for operating. It kind of just builds bullpens out of all these spare parts from here and there, and he ends up with a pretty good bullpen at the end of the year. As you can see, it's a high-stress job. DIDI Gregorius knocked down, gets back up, spins and throws him out. Knocked DIDI backwards into left field on that, but he got up, spun around, and threw out Rosario for the second out. Brings up Todd Helton.
Nice play on both ends. DIDI for fielding that smash off the bat of Rosario. Tough hop. And then Paul Goldschmidt at the other end, picking one out of the dirt to get Rosario.
Todd Helton walked and scored his last time up. He's 0 for 3. It's funny when Matt is on the planes and on the buses, he's got these Clark Kent glasses. Like these big black frame Clark Kent looking things. You figure, okay, Professor, who's this guy? But it would never occur to you that he's, you know, out there throwing 92 miles an hour.
He might wear contacts when he's actually out there on the mound. Either that or he just squints a lot to try to get Miggy's orange fingertips. Yeah, Randall Delgado caught us by surprise by wearing glasses on the mound. Langwell surprises us by not wearing them.
He's sweating through that hat, though. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. There's Randall. Going with the contacts tonight, apparently. Hey, fans, keep up with the pennant races and catch the rest of the 2013 season in HD quality, spectacular HD. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile devices. Visit MLB.tv today. It's baseball everywhere. I use that thing 10 times a day. Watching games on my phone, the computer, the whole thing. 1-2. Popped him up. Left center. Martin Prado's there. We head to the bottom of the ninth. Diamondbacks need 5. A lot of excitement outside the Game 7 grill at Chase Field before the ball game. Bob Brenly jamming with Dan Bickley and Whiskey's Quicker. You sound great.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Now, how about a big Pete Townsend finish or something?
I'm working on that. This is the first time I've actually played in public where I've been able to look away from my fingers and actually see who's out there watching us play.
Little wild thing sounded like.
Yeah, very fun song to play.
Manny Corpus will work the ninth for the Rockies. He'll face Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt, and Eric Chavez, 2, 3, and 4.
Fastball slider combination, almost an even mix for Corpus. He'll use that slider an awful lot, especially against the righties.
I should say now that Aaron is up, we did the cup of coffee with Aaron Hill, which is airing right now on Fox Sports Arizona. You can see the whole thing at foxsportsarizona.com. And I had a great Canadian fan who was here today, and she gave me a loony and a toonie. Now you know what those are, having played in. Here, do you want to? Can you get a shot of these? So I want to thank her for that. They're dollar coins, right?
Yeah.
Direct from Canada. Is our camera working up here? So a loony. Now, how does this money work? A loony and a toonie. These are from Canada.
I'm not quite sure. I know they make great ball markers if you're a golfer.
So we got those on the air.
I'm assuming this is a toonie, the two-colored one.
Aaron told me how much they're worth. Yeah, the toonie is the two-tone.
Tommy two-tone. Toonie two-tone. Yeah.
So there's your Canadian money from our.
Yeah. I like the toonie. I got to tell you, it has a polar bear on the back. Now that is cool. Thanks.
It's on me tonight, boys. Go nuts. You can spend $3. Aaron Hill. There's some Canadian money right there. On base for the third time tonight. 2 singles and a walk. So if you watch Cup of Coffee with Aaron Hill, and he talks about loonies and toonies, that's what they are. Quick follow-up to that story. Here's Goldie, who was walked twice. Once intentionally.
You can have the loonies and toonies. I'll just take a bar of gold. D.
They throw those at you when you play guitar, don't they? Just come streaming in.
They were throwing something at us.
That was Leo.
Oh, what a bizarre ball game. Diamondbacks pitchers actually had 4 1-2-3 innings in this game. In the other 5, however, 16 hits, 7 runs.
D-backs have had 10 hits, but they've left 11 men on base.
And more numbers for the Rockies. I mean, we kind of felt this throughout the ball game, especially in the early going. With less than 2 outs, they were 5 for 22. With 2 outs in the inning, they were 11 for 19.
Brandon McCarthy gave up 10 2-out hits. All but one of them singles. I mean, he was ahead the entire ball game. He barely threw a pitch that wasn't a strike all night long. He would routinely get the first 2 batters in the inning out. And then a little single here, a little single there, and suddenly he's working to get out of trouble, which he did almost every time except the first inning. Three and 2, full count to Goldie. Pedro Alvarez homered for the Pirates. Their only run, they lost 6-1 to the Nationals, so Goldie now 2 behind Alvarez for the home run lead. Goldie did a great thing all day today. Before the game, he's got a whole group of staffers from Phoenix Children's Hospital here. Hooked him up with a suite, got him down on the field. Tremendous job by Paul once again. And there's a base hit. Diamondbacks have the first 2 men on here in the 9th. Don't go anywhere. First 2 reach against Manny Corpus. Here's Eric Chavez. He has driven in a run with a sacrifice fly, walked and scored in the 5th. That's now 11 hits for the Diamondbacks. Chance to make it a ball game again right at the end with nobody out. One team 500, the other 1 for 9. Brothers, the lefty we were looking for earlier in the ball game, and the Diamondbacks had 3 lefties up.
We've got that string Montero, Parra, Gregorius due up after Martin Prado. That's probably why Brothers is getting ready, I would assume.
Chavez strikes out, 1 away. There is Martin Prado, 1 for 4, a single in the 5th.
Left field, Martin
Good career numbers for Prado against right-hander Manny Corpus. He's 3 for 5 with 2 doubles and a homer.
Ooh, gets the high strike call there, 0-1. Right at the belt. There are those numbers Bob talked about, 3 for 5 with a homer. Misses Anthony's, 1-1. Oh, perfectly located down and away for a 1-2 count.
Yeah, Corpus will add and subtract a little bit on both of his pitches, both the sinking fastball and the slider. Just took a little off that one, guided it up there to the outside corner of the plate.
Stays alive. Miggy on deck. He's been on base all 4 times he's reached. Or been up, 2 singles, 2 walks. 2-2 to Prado. Aaron Hill on second, Paul Goldschmidt at first. Straight up in the air. Tulowitzki. 2 down. Here's Miggy.
We showed you the runners in scoring position numbers just a moment ago. It was 5 for 10 for the Rockies, 1 for 9 for the D-backs. Make that 1 for 11 for the D-backs. Boy, if anybody can ever figure out how to come up with timely hits, there won't be enough money in the world to pay them to be your manager. Timely hits.
Well, Corpus had been in trouble. The first 2 had reached, but he gets 2 quick outs, so they'll leave him in there to face the lefty Montero. Brothers had been warming.
0-2.
Now the zone is wide again.
And getting wider, apparently. One and two. I bet umpires like Miggy because he'll always talk after almost every pitch, but it never seems mean-spirited, or at least from here.
I mean, when you've got a catcher framing pitches over in the right-handed batter's box,
I was going to say
that tells you how wide the strike zone has been tonight when Rosario is trying to get that pitch.
It was almost in the on-deck circle. 2-2.
Back out there again.
Don't forget Miggy Bobblehead Day here tomorrow. Street Festival before the game, brought to you by APS. Everything is down and away. 5:10 first pitch tomorrow at Chase Field. Miguel Montero Bobblehead Day. Miggy drives that high and deep and gone. His 11th, and the Diamondbacks aren't dead yet.
That's why they were trying to keep everything away from Miggy.
That ball was hammered. And it's a Fulton home run. Another $150 to Central Arizona Mountain Rescue. Number 11 for Miggy.
Oh, cement mixer slider right there in the middle of the plate. They were trying to throw it to the outside corner. No doubt about it.
So Miggy, 2 singles, a homer, a pair of walks. He's reached all 5 times he's been up, and the Diamondbacks, with 2 outs in the ninth, will get the tying run into the on-deck circle. Pitching change, don't go anywhere. He's in. We'll keep playing here at Chase Field. Down to their final out, but suddenly it's a ball game again on Miguel Montero's 3-run, 2-out homer that chases Manny Corpus and brings in Rex Brothers. So the lefty is on for the Rockies.
Kurt Gibson has countered. He will hit for his lefties, Parra and Gregorius. Bloomquist in there now to hit for Gerardo Parra. A.J. Pollock is out on deck. Miguel Montero has made it a ball game tonight. Diamondbacks down to their last out, but they get the tying run on deck. Here's Bloomquist hitting for Parra at .351 on the year.
And Brothers has surrendered 5 home runs this season, all coming to right-handed batters.
Need a base runner here. There it is. Drives it to right. Kadire, though, is there, and that's the ball game. Diamondbacks make it interesting with 3 in the 9th, but they fall short 7-5. And the big number on the scoreboard, BB, that jumps out is the 11 for the Diamondbacks in the left on base column.
Yeah, they're going to bemoan that looking over this scorecard after the game tonight. They had a lot of 7 walks in the ball game as well to go along with their 12 base hits. Just couldn't come up with that timely hit other than Miggy.
So the Rockies get 16 hits and they win the series opener 7-5. Diamondbacks had their chances, just couldn't quite get the big hit until late when Miguel Montero hit his 11th to make it a 2-run ball game. But the Rockies take game 1, 7-5. Lots to talk about here from Chase Field. So let's get Diamondbacks Live started. Todd Walsh and Joe Borowski in center field.
You just started it. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate that. So let's take it and run with it. Joe, with all due respect to the Colorado Rockies offense, and we will talk about them a little bit later on in the show, I do want to flash back to at least one moment. I clearly recall Tony Campana standing down there at third base in a tie game, a chance to take the lead, and who knows from that point. So many opportunities squandered. We have to lead with that, don't we?
Well, absolutely, Todd. And we just saw the 3-run home run by Miguel Montero. Made it a 7-5 game. But there were plenty of opportunities during this game that the Diamondbacks could have seized this game, but they just let it slip through their fingers.
All right, you'll break it down and so much more. Plus, we'll take a look at Brandon McCarthy's night, and we'll get on the field and inside the Diamondbacks clubhouse, as we always do. Brad Steinke will be working that. So stick around. More to come. Diamondbacks Live, presented by CenturyLink, will begin in a matter of moments from Chase Field on this Friday night here on Fox Sports Arizona.